can actually see the chat from here. Oh, can you do me a favor? Can you click the mouse?
Kind of get in here.
Can you click the mouse in the box, the chat box thing, and turn the volume off on that?
Boom.
Click back in the chat box thing. Okay. Awesome.
All right, this is episode 49 of From the Ground Up. Real quick, just wanted to mention t-shirts available on the website, like the ones I'm wearing that you can't see because we have too many people here and you can't see the shirt. But Theportcitypythons.com. That is your way to. I'll never ask you for like money or send it to Patreon and put it out into the fucking ether and then never do a podcast again. I just want you to buy something and get a cool shirt, and then we get to support the podcast at the same time. Today, we have, if you haven't noticed by the poor audio quality, hopefully I can do this in post and make it not sound like total dog shit. But we have Evan Browder and Dave Perlich, which we have had on before. If you don't know, Evan is from Cartel. Dave is Morelia Evolution. I almost stumbled on the word Morelia. Like I've never said that before. And so, yeah, we're just going to talk about a little bit of shit we're going to do in the new year. Melissa's answering your questions on YouTube.
It's okay. Let's do it.
Yeah. So today, or fucking 3 days ago, I saw something that I was wondering. I wanted to bounce off you guys. It doesn't have to do with what I actually was going to talk about, but, you know, that's kind of how the shit goes. But I saw that Kevin McCurley put on his Boelen stuff as far as him breeding his Boelens. Evan, your face is fucking priceless about that shit.
I just,
but
just listening.
But you know, someone had mentioned like, hey, Kevin, if you're wondering about, you know, all the research and stuff that's going on with the people who are currently trying to breed Boelen's pythons, listen to the NPR episode, or, you know, here's some resources for you to look into. And Kevin was kind of like, I understand it from one angle and don't at the same time. Like, he's like, yeah, I have my own ideas. I just want to try it and then see how it works and then go from there. Do you feel like that's like a shitty ego thing? Or like, should you take what people have done before and build upon it? Or because no one's had good success besides Frederick, maybe start all over again? How do you feel? I guess Evan first.
I personally feel like it's open season when it comes to Boelens because, like you said, nobody's producing them. So, other than like a handful of people. So, you know, anything can work right about now. I mean, I think he should try, you know, whatever he wants to try. They're his snakes. We're not paying his light bills and electricity bills and rent. So you do what you want with your own animals. But I mean, to me, if they're not mass producing like ball pythons and shit like that, hey, go for what you know, because what he might try might work. Then what do you do if all of a sudden everybody his style works and then everybody's able to produce off that? You never know. I mean, I think with them not being mass produced and hard to breed, it's like scrubs. If you can figure out a way to get these things to breed, more power to you. Go for it. You know, I don't. But like I said, I don't like people telling other people how to do things or how they should do it. If it's his animals, you know, if let's say he loses them in the process, that's a risk he's willing to take to go his route. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if I would. I'm scared to even own Boelens, much less try to breed them. But you know, that is a bucket list snake. I hope one day I do have a Boelens, because there's nothing more beautiful than that big black snake.
Oh yeah, big black snake. Speaking
big
of
black snake,
it's on Dave's shirt. So Dave, you need to formulate an opinion real quick.
My opinion is this: Kevin McCurley has had a shit ton of fucking success breeding
with some rarer stuff.
Yeah, breeding retics, obviously ball pythons, his monitors. He has, like, if you buy a monitor from him, that monitor comes to you imprinted with "humans are good."
Yeah,
that's beyond amazing. So with the species like Boelens, where nobody knows anything except for maybe Frederick, it would be retarded for people to sit there and go, you need to go talk to this person, you need to go talk to this person, when he has this mountain of success behind him and this mountain of knowledge in his head that he can fuck it, let him do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's interesting because I feel like there's a few people who have been like working together to do this and kind of taking things away, adding things to their breeding plans and stuff like that. And like, he's just like, fuck all that.
Keith is kind of the same way. Keith has a mountain of success with blood pythons, a shit ton of other species.
Gross.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he does nothing but ambient only for most everything. And so maybe it'll work. Maybe it won't. If you don't try, you don't get anything from it.
Yeah. And then talking about breeding, are you guys breeding this year? Evan, how many fruit flies are you breeding this year?
Exactly. That's about all I'm fucking breeding right now is fruit flies. That's all I can talk about is fucking fruit flies. No, I'm not breeding shit. I'm back to the basics. I'm keeping.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't have anything. I have a male Biak that's old enough to go, and I have a female Hereford ball python, but I'm not doing anything.
Well, you're not gonna put them together. Make your first Biak green ball.
I wish I would. I mean, I'm nothing against hybrids. I love a Carpondra. I think they're badass.
Has anybody ever done a green ball before?
I've heard they've been done. I'm sure Bill's gonna try it at some point. A banana inchy sickness. Hey, you heard it here first.
There you go.
You can't just have banana and inchy in there. You also have to have Candino in there as well.
Whatever's yellow, yeah.
Something. Bill's a Frankenstein. I'm kind of shocked he hasn't tried it. To be honest, I mean, I don't know.
Is there a line there? Does Bill draw a line?
Does he? I'm sure he does. I'm sure everybody does. I mean, but I think if you're just going to Frankenstein it, fucking go all out.
Go all out, yeah.
I mean, shit. Put a king snake with a ball python. No, but really, I think that I don't know. I don't think I've ever seen a green tree ball python. I don't know if I'd want to. I mean, I'd want to see what it looks like. Of course, it's not something
I don't know if it'll work.
Shit, you never know. They work with carpets. They work with womas. They work with all kinds of shit. Berms. Yeah, you can get a Burmese and a ball python to breed.
I think I want to say those are out there. Or there's an angry ball, I think is what they call it. It's maybe a retaking a ball python.
No, that's
Angolan.
That's Angolan.
Yeah, which are the same thing. So I don't know why you're doing
I didn't say that. I didn't say that. I tease a lot when I see people post Angolans. I think Gary Shavino posted up something not too long ago. And I was like, oh, cool ball python. But go in there and call them things ball pythons.
It's kind of like if you look at a diamond and a jungle, it's like I feel like the Angolan is the diamond and the jungle is the ball python, just in pattern and then in like the how what would you call that? How fucking often you see it in the hobby. But Dave, are you breeding coastals this year? Or?
I did something really stupid. And moved in December.
Perfect.
Yes. So due to space constrictions, I have pairs together. I have absolutely no idea if anything's going to come from it. If past experience has said anything, I should have spotted pythons. That's about it.
Are those typically easy to breed? Is that
oh God, there's only I don't know of a way you can stop them from breeding.
Eat fingers.
Yeah, they do. And when the female comes off of eggs, it is almost impossible to handle her because she wants to eat everything. Like she'll eat your thumb up to there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Did you get one for me?
Mm-hmm.
Which one is that?
That's a female.
That's a female?
Yeah.
You're breeding her?
Yep.
Oh, awesome.
This will be the second or third year I've tried with her.
Has she produced yet?
The eggs went bad last year and then she slugged out the year before. And I don't know why she slugged out the year before. I changed males, and the male that I tried last year was like 10 months old, something like that.
That sounds pretty young. I don't know anything about spotted python.
I don't think he was old enough to get the job done, and I think that's why the eggs went bad. So this year he's another year older, so he should be good.
Yeah,
he was a sex preemie.
God,
yeah, he's shooting blanks. You can know that. But you're still pairing coastals and stuff as far as what do you have? Some like jag stuff?
No jag stuff. I have a
tiger. Just making shit up that you have.
I have a tiger. I'm working on a Collins actually now.
Collins. I like that.
Oh shit.
No, I have a tiger and a caramel going together, and then a really banded M-pen going with kind of a more traditional M-pen.
Very nice.
So my goal is to make, the 50-50 jungles.
Meaning like
That
50 color.
Yeah, 50-50 pattern.
Yeah.
And with bands and everything, that's what I want that look on me in coastals.
Okay. And I mean that just the M Pen line is just like way above.
He's
anything.
actually, I seen a post earlier. He's got his Rockhamptons going. He's got some IJs going. He's got some Granite Spotteds going. He's got some stuff going.
And his reds are insane. His
Yeah.
reds.
In case y'all don't know, Michael Pinnell, Python and Pear Tree. I don't know how you don't know who M Pen is. The Silver Fox. Great dude, man. Check him out.
Yeah, he posted, I think it was just a baby that he posted, but he said, you know, he's going for more of an xanthic look in his coastals that aren't exactly technically xanthics, I guess, but just really, really clean fucking coastals.
He produces some nice stuff.
We need people to respect coastals, I guess.
No shit.
Now.
Yes.
Yeah, considering them and jungles are the same thing.
Well, yeah, now they you can.
I don't give a shit. I don't care. They're not the same thing. I mean, I know they probably.
If you
are.
believe in DNA, they are the same thing.
We have had this conversation 10 times on this podcast.
So Travis Wyman sent me a picture because he knows I'm pissed off about the jungle coastal thing. And he's like, guess what? These are also the same species. He sent a Chihuahua next to a Great Dane. So I was like, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Like, I know.
So you mean to tell me my Yorkie and my Pitbull are the same?
They're the same thing. You can breed them together and
that would be.
You don't want to see the result of the thing, which is just like I don't want to see the result of a, you know, slow-handed Jada fucking jungle to a coastal. I don't want to see that. I never want to see because there's no reason to do that.
Adding diamond blood to jungle, I get, but why would you take a snake with pure black and pure yellow
and put it with something brownish, creamish?
Yeah, don't get me wrong.
That's all you have.
Don't get me wrong. I love coastals. Coastals, the color palette you have to work with is amazing. But that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. But I mean, you get people out there. I mean, but those kinds of people don't really get that quality of jungle carpet python either. But
yeah, a lot of people don't want to spend the money.
We got to cuddle closer if we can hear Dave this whole time.
At least y'all are all in the shot now. I mean, it's easy.
Kind of, but we do have this new
like
HD camera.
Whoa. It didn't help color correction for you.
Yeah, well, the sun's right in my eyes, but
I don't know. My beard looks nice.
I mean, you look like a different person.
Why is that?
With the beard. Last time I saw you were before last time you were baby face and it changed.
My head's baby face. Oh
shit! Also, your brother looks a lot like you. Total not snake.
I get that a lot.
Your brother looks so much.
She thought you were.
I thought it was. Yeah, I thought
it was that a lot. And I'm 5 years older, and everybody swears we're twins.
I saw the picture, and I'm like, that looks like that's his brother.
Evan. Your mom says the camera is so much clearer. By the way.
That's great. I'm glad.
That's the best compliment you could
She bought it, by the way. That's the Christmas gift for everyone listening because they care.
That's awesome. Thanks, Mom. You made me look good.
Evan, what are you doing as far as you're building enclosures? What the hell are you building them for?
I'm building a frog tank because I have frogs, and
you have constantly multiplying amounts of frogs.
No, I've just got the how many do I have?
12.
That's all I have. I have
like
12
3 tanks now.
But I've got a bunch of tanks. I just build these tanks because it's so addictive. If no one's ever built a tank gallon, and go to YouTube and look at some of the tank buildings, the live vivariums, even if you want to build it just for plants, it is so much fun. And it's addicting. Like it's one of those things that you build one and it's like, oh, let me get a bigger one. And then you start thinking, I can do this, I can do that. Oh, if I put this plant or this tree into the background, it comes out here, then I can put this bromeliad on. I mean, your mind just starts racing. And of course, if you look on my page and stuff or follow me Facebook, Instagram, I'm doing a 75 gallon right now.
Yeah, it's
huge. It's huge, man. It's gonna be some fun. I'm pretty excited and can't wait to have it done and put some frogs in it. And I have a little water feature, waterfall and shit.
Evan was scrolling through his Instagram before. He saw a story of Mia Khalifa and he was like, okay, I like that. And then bromeliads, he was like, oh yeah, those are fucking awesome. So,
yeah.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh no, never mind. You're fine. It's this. It's you know. It's
y'all know who me and Khalifa is. Come on.
I don't know who that is.
It's Wiz Khalifa's sister.
I don't think it's a sister.
Trying to look at this.
No, you're not gonna want to Google that.
Yeah, Google me and Khalifa.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, I said we turn the camera this way.
No kidding.
Yeah. Let's get the face.
I want to
shot.
see your face, facial expression. Like, what the fuck?
So what do you do with those like light diffusers? That's just for filtration.
That's on the bottom. I basically wrap those for the false bottom. I wrap them in like a weed block, which is like a mesh. So when you put your soil down, and then all your water drainage, it just goes straight through the egg crate and into the bottom, and you just filter out your water.
Have either of you guys kept womas before? We just had someone ask about.
No, so man, we were
Yes.
just talking about one.
I have one.
Ah, there you go.
I have one. They're
Finger
amazing.
Your collection is just like, oh, I didn't know he had that. Oh yeah, I didn't know, like a red scrub or.
I have cut down dramatically. I think I'm down below, either right at or just above 30 animals. I have to go in and count.
But you have like major
It's more than
animals.
I went from like 50 to like 15.
So what do you think? Womas in general, I've seen like super high feed response, but then again, I've seen super chill ones, and
They are the weirdest handling snake you will ever come across. And it's not like a typical feed response, like if you grab a spotted python, or because we were talking about spotteds earlier, or carpet pythons or something like that, where you open up the cage and they have that feed response. Yeah, these don't do that. You pick them up and they run their hand like this, and then they go, oh, hey, this spot looks good. And then they bite and wrap.
yeah.
That's their feed response.
Is a Woma ball python a thing?
Yeah.
Yes,
that's
it's
a mutation.
Yeah, it's
It's a
supposed
wall.
to
You don't
be.
seem to be too.
No,
I-
they're called walls. It's a woman ball.
It's a
Seriously.
wall.
No. There's a hidden gene Woma. It's a actual mutation in ball pythons. I just don't. I just.
So
I
it's
just
not
don't.
a hybrid.
Well, no,
It's
there's a
just-
hybrid.
There's a
Okay,
hybrid.
wait, you're
That's
confusing me.
the hybrid is called the wall ball,
Okay.
and that's a combination of a Woma and a ball python. And then there's a mutation that I have no earthly idea how it works, but it's supposed to be a hidden gene Woma.
Okay, what is a hidden gene? How
It's not
Really a hidden gene. Basically, it's.
It's-
Oh no.
I didn't
You
want to go
put
down
it-
this rabbit hole.
If you take a hidden gene Woma and you could put it with something like a lesser or something like that, that's how you get the soul suckers.
Yeah.
Because I had a banana lesser and I was going to pair it with a hidden gene Woma and I was going to try to make some banana soul suckers.
No, but what is a hidden gene? I don't get what that means.
It makes banana dick suckers. Did you hear that? The fuck?
That's what it's
Why do you
called.
have any more questions?
How is it a hidden? What does that mean? A
It's
hidden
basically
It's
the ball python
stupid.
community. The ball python community doesn't understand you.
Back when they were too stupid to realize when something was different, they were like, "Oh shit, it's turned out to something different. It must be a hidden gene," and then that's what you get.
gene? Okay. so,
Pretty much.
so hidden gene isn't really a thing.
And there's also
It's a very-
xanthic, which is co-dominant. There's
It's a very, very subtle codominant mutation.
This is a question we should ask Pinnell.
No kidding. He would be
Chew him
way
in.
better at this.
Oh, I could call him up. I think.
I've got his phone
That's
number.
we'll just start calling random people.
You're live on a podcast there, Pin.
It's the only way we could probably get him on here. I would have to explain all the fucking Google Hangout shit. And
Good luck
people
with
are
good luck
turned
with
off
that.
with
He's good luck with that. He's older than I am.
He's on Instagram.
He's actually got an Instagram now. He was just barely on Facebook and could barely manage that.
Yeah. I don't know if he posts that much, but
Okay, so are people successful with the hybrid, the Loma ball? Is
I
that a
don't-
successful thing?
well, successful making them, I don't think they breed any further from there. Meaning, like, you're not gonna bring it back to a ball python and make
After you already have
75%
that.
balls.
I don't know.
I mean, not that.
Why not?
I mean,
You
the-
do it with
Everyone who makes hybrids is so short-sighted. I don't even think they've gotten to that point.
You turn
The
that light
only-
on, and you
Right.
went all John Cena and just disappeared, dude.
You're
The
even
only
more
the only
evil.
exception to that would
you
seem
gotta turn
the
that off.
Carpantro people.
That is true. Yeah, that's an exception. I mean, I don't even. That's just not as much of blasphemy as all the other ones.
No.
When you're talking about a woman to a ball, that I feel like that's such a different league. Even.
Oh, good
than
lord! You're talking about
talking
different
to-
continents.
Yeah, that's what I never understood that. When you're taking like I kind of understand carpets and green trees. You know, I'm not against hybrids. You do your own thing. Like I said, I'm not
They're
paying
your
your bills.
animals.
They're your animals. But I understand a carpet to like a green tree because one, same family, kind of. They're both kind of, in the trees, same lifestyle, same continent. Okay, that makes sense. You take a ball python that lives in Africa in a hole in the ground, you know what I mean? And then you put it with something from another continent that lives in a tree. To me, I mean, instinctually, I think you're fucking that snake up because they live a certain life, one half, you know what I mean? And then the other half is this. Then they're going to eat different things. So it's like, what does that do to that snake? Does it do anything at all?
What the hell?
Yeah, behavior, is it like fucked up? I mean, I saw Jurassic Park. They created something crazy and fucked it up. You know what I mean? So are these snakes T-Rex Velociraptor type animals? You know what I mean? Like, are they just, does it mentally mess with them? I mean, not physically, because of course, you don't see any problems physically, but does it mentally, or do people just look at snakes as, they're all the same? I think certain snakes have characteristics or personality. That's what I'm trying to say, that they have their own. You know what I mean? Like some snakes are assholes and some snakes are just chill, and that's their personality.
It goes from individual to species as well. Like a Loma python behaves so differently than a fucking ball python. I couldn't even imagine.
I have both, and they're dramatically differently.
Yeah.
And back
Maybe it evens it out when you put them together.
Back to the individual snake thing. I have a carpet python that doesn't climb. Never used to perch in her entire life.
Yeah, that's the one thing with like carpets. You see like some that will perch and some that just don't give a shit.
I have one that thinks that she's a freaking green tree python. She'll sit on a perch and exactly like a green tree and never move.
I got a ball python that perches.
So do I.
Say something.
Well, how does it perch? And
it looks like
one quart
it
tub.
climbs up. No, I've got it. I actually moved in this cage I got, and it's got. Yeah, I had a green tree in there, and it's got the PVC in there. I just didn't take it out. So I walked in there the other day, and she's literally up on it and perched like a green tree, just sitting there. And I was like, "Oh, you got to be shitting me!" And I meant to take a picture and walk
put it
on
on ball python enthusiasts, and go. I put all my ball pythons in arboreal enclosures.
If you're in Africa looking for ball pythons, look up.
There was someone. There was like a big argument. I don't know. It must have been. It was either DFW or Texas Class 5s or whatever. Someone. I don't know. Someone was like, "Yeah, I went to Africa and there's ball pythons in the trees or something." I don't know, because people were arguing over the tubs.
Maybe in the bushes.
Though. Why would they lie? They would have no reason to lie about that. Maybe they did see it.
I think they maybe they said like, "I know someone who's seen one in the trees." It's always people. I don't know. It's hard to say. People, the tub and not tub argument. For ball pythons, I feel like it works perfectly.
Mm-hmm.
For most snakes, it works perfectly, but to have those options, I guess.
I would even almost. This is blasphemy for the scrub python community, but I would almost say if you can find suitably large tubs, scrubs would probably do amazing in them. They're so high strung and so visually just watchful and everything.
In case y'all didn't know, that's the name of Dave's new company, Scrub in a Tub.
I like that. Someone asked, are spotted pythons as hard to get feeding as other Antaresia species?
No.
Just stick your finger in front of his face.
No. Children's pythons and the Stimsoni, what are those? The pygmy pythons? Anthill pythons? I don't know if they're the pygmy or the anthills.
Yeah, pygmy is the same thing.
Yeah, they are. Those you pretty much have to force feed to get them going. Spotted pythons, you stick a pinky in front of their face and they eat it. It's like feeding a baby corn snake. If you're gonna breed Antaresia and you don't want to dick with force feeding babies
or spotted python, do you scent at some point? Do you know what they even sent on? Do they want to?
That's what I was going to ask. Are they frog lizard eaters?
I have no idea.
I would assume probably lizard.
Yeah,
that would be my guess.
I have no earthly idea. I've never scented. I've always the ones that out of like a clutch of 10, you'll have one that doesn't want to eat. Kind of the same thing with
awesome.
Yeah, and that one I have always just force fed it mouse tails until it got the idea that I wanted a pinky.
It's essentially the same thing as starting a corn snake.
Exactly.
At that point, yeah.
So I've never scented. I don't even know what I would scent with. Maybe bearded dragon. Maybe they eat baby bearded dragons. I don't know.
Bearded dragon.
No, I think I mean I get what you're saying with the bearded dragons. I mean, I think people just think little python and a bearded dragon, but I think
But
Australia.
I was going to say
maybe either
a hatchling bearded
or,
dragon is
yeah,
like that.
They're small, or
Yeah.
maybe even a like a frilled dragon. They're eating that kind of stuff out there.
Mhm.
You know, those whatever lizard skinks, those little ground skinks they have out there. And I mean, fucking know,
I've heard stories of baby entry, like when you hatch a clutch of carpet pythons, you can leave them together until they all shed. Don't do that with Antaresia. You'll start with 10 babies and you'll come back and you'll have 9 or 8.
Really?
Because they'll eat their siblings.
And do they eat snakes in the wild? Never really
I can't remember who it was. Somebody went over there and saw them eating an Antaresia. I don't know if it was a spotted, a children's, or a pygmy or whatever. Saw an Antaresia eating a road-killed fierce snake.
Whoa.
That's pretty cool.
So I mean, I would assume that was a baby or a full-size Antaresia eating a
baby fierce snake. Yeah.
Yeah. But still super awesome. I mean, like the little king snake of Australia to a certain degree.
Womas also eat pretty much anything.
Really?
Yeah, I've heard that they're a bigger pain to start, though. I have no idea. I only have one, so I haven't even tried breeding yet.
Is it a female or a male?
Male. Austin has a female, and
really?
we're gonna do a breeding loan at some point.
Yeah.
Well, he's right there.
Yeah,
He just said, "Hey."
Are they?
I thought about grabbing him and dragging him down here, actually.
Get him down here. I mean, we just can't fit him.
Yeah, I was gonna say we don't have any more space.
That would have worked out great because I got to get with y'all anyway, so we could set up something. For
No shit.
Southern Carpet Fest and figure out what's going
yeah.
on.
My wife says my spot is good.
Hey.
Well, you heard it here. All right. So, Southern Carpet Fest at Dave's house.
I know there's a couple people that have been like, let me get back and see what can happen. Because in case you guys didn't know, plans for Carpet Fest, Southern Carpet Fest, are normally at Bill's house, but Bill is going to be selling his house, and so couldn't have Carpet Fest there this year. And so we've been on the grind trying to find a new spot. So it's looking like here in a little bit we'll be trying to wrap everything up and let everybody know where it's going to be. We're still looking at like the first weekend of May, because that just seems to be a nice time of year down here. It's not too rainy. It's not
too
hot.
Not too hot, not too cold.
We're going to get out there and do what we do and fuck around and have some fun. And yep, crawfish is the plan. And
I got it.
Oh, that works.
Oh.
Down here.
bowling.
We're not talking because me and Dave are trying to find out how to tag team a can or a bottle and get the top off.
Okay, I have a question.
Wait, we were going to talk more about Carpet Fest. I want to talk about Carpet Fest.
Sorry. Okay, what
Let's
more
get to it in a
questions
little
do you
bit.
have?
I was thinking like Tony's house. You talked to Tony, or
We talked to Tony. We talked to Dave. We talked to Austin. We talked to actually a couple people just hit me up and was like, "Hey man, I think Ryan was saying maybe we could go to his house." Sullivan.
Oh, okay.
And Ivory Connection.
Little Elmo, Texas.
I have a side note.
The
This is
Hobbit
good, but not quite as good as the other one.
No, that's less
It's
beery.
like softer. I wish it was.
It's
There's
a little bit
some,
sweeter. It's not carbonated.
It's more. It's like flat, kind of. It needs this a little.
It needs to be
little
called
something.
Budweiser. I don't
So
know
what
what
I
they're
am-
drinking.
Also,
So
I want to see it sponsored by beer.
Well,
It's
no,
not
yeah.
like
I'm totally
Yeah,
happy.
Steve
You're beer
Austin
nerds. This
IPA.
is amazing.
yeah, we had
Broken
because
Skull.
Will Weber was saying like, hey, I love beer and I know you guys drink beer. Why don't you talk about the beer that you drink? And I forgot.
we do it a little bit, but we've stopped. We've stopped.
So
We used to do it at the
what we're
beginning.
drinking is a Founder's breakfast stout, which is like an oatmeal stout. It's seasonal, so you can't get it. I think it's nationwide, but it's seasonal up until like the end of January. Then
We
the other
struggled
one,
to get it like last weekend. Like I called like 4 different stores.
Yeah,
I
and it's like a
really,
little,
really like this one.
it's a real heavy stout with like,
It's an imperial oatmeal stout.
and then the
I've
other
made
one,
one of those.
Double
they're-
chocolate. You've made it?
Yeah, I brew my own beer.
Oh,
yeah.
Whoa,
Yeah,
okay.
I've made an oatmeal stout. They're kind of a pain to make, but they're delicious.
What
and they
makes
take
it so difficult?
It's more just patience because they take longer to brew than like a Heffy
Oh,
or
okay.
something like that.
Ah.
I'm not sure who this is, but Who's H2749? Yes, I still plan on going herping for gray bands before Joe and Melissa.
Someone
take
knows
off.
you a lot.
I'm
And you don't know who they are.
Okay, wait,
But
Joe, you gotta say the second one.
The other one is Real Ales. Real Ales Coffee Porter. So it isn't a stout, it's a porter, and it's like not. It's a collaboration with a coffee company here in Texas and a brewer in Texas. It's a limited release too, but it's like not very carbonated. It's pretty sweet, which I don't really like my beers to be very sweet.
I think it's flat. That's my best.
It's a little flat, yeah. It's not very carbonated.
Yeah.
And it is pretty coffee tasting. I like the subtle coffee and chocolatey.
I feel bad. The only beers we drink are like the dark. We really like dark stout type beer.
And I'm an IPA and a stout guy, so that works.
And Evan's high class. He only drinks from doctors. His drink was made by Dr. Pepper.
I don't know if you're familiar with that company.
I think it's nationwide.
I think maybe.
Sure. I'm not sure if it's everywhere. But
as much as I love Dr. Pepper, I'm fixing to start cutting that out too. Yep.
Evans,
because I quit smoking cigarettes. If you smoke cigarettes, quit.
Join Evan in his fight.
No, and the only thing that will kill you just as quick as cigarettes is probably a lot of Dr. Pepper.
How long have you been cigarette free now?
About almost 2 weeks.
Almost 2 weeks. Yeah, the actual physical addiction is over with. All you need now, you just have to contend with the habit, and the habit is the worst part. Yeah, the fact that you go outside and you light up. The fact that you wake up in the morning and
yeah, it sucks.
And there's not a day that goes by that you don't want one.
Especially fishing. Okay. I fish a lot. Get out there and be fishing and really want to smoke a cigarette.
I'm an ex-smoker.
Now, what do you do while you're fishing?
Chew gum.
I just eat a lot. I'm gonna lose some weight, and then I go fishing and quit smoking cigarettes. I just snack.
Fishing is not a game for skinny people.
No.
Okay, I didn't know
you
those
don't
two
see
things.
many skinny fishermen.
Fly fishers, I feel like you do.
Yeah, they're like the chondro people of ball python are like the catfishers of fishing, which is what Evan is. So.
What? Catfish and the ball python.
Yeah, like bass fishing is like maybe like Morelia.
Maybe.
Fuck no, man.
A good trout. That's like
you're not gonna catch a 100-pound bass. You know what I mean? So I don't know. This show is everywhere tonight. We're talking about beer, fishing, cigarettes. This is great. Catfish.
No, those are like the big sea fishermen are the retic guys.
No, those would be the Boelen's guys.
Okay, so any more on Southern Carpet Fest?
I got to get with Austin too. He's our t-shirt designer. Come up with a plan so we can get it all designed and see what's what. But there's a Facebook page we did, Southern Carpet Fest. You can follow that, and once all plans get rolling, it'll be posted, and then we'll be sharing daily till it's time for the event.
We should. Sorry.
Oh, you're good. I was gonna say,
we should also promote
crawfish.
Promote Southeast.
Oh yeah.
Even though none of us are going.
Southeast Carpet Fest, February 10th.
I'm trying if I can get some money together.
Cape Coral, Florida.
We looked at it.
Contact Ian Bissell, man. S&J Reptiles. Southeast Carpet Fest should be a good one.
No, I'll be in New York that weekend.
Ooh.
What are you doing in New York?
Visiting my best friend from high school and one of my wife's friends.
Did you know he was from New York?
He's not from New York. He's from him?
Yes. From New York.
I knew he was. I'm sitting here going, my best friend isn't from New York. What the hell are you talking about?
Yeah, let's argue about your best friend.
I knew you were from up in that area. I didn't know you were from actual New York.
No, not actual New York.
When you say New York, what do you mean?
City.
Oh, okay. See, I always get confused when people's like, are you talking about the state or the city? But okay, never mind. Off topic.
So we just came back from there, but what were you gonna? Carpet Fest. Where are we going?
You had a question, I think.
Oh yes. Okay. To make it seem like I know stuff. Oh shit.
This is gonna be hard. Yeah, exactly.
What?
Wait, no.
What is that?
Nothing.
Okay, what is special about the platinum spotted python? Is there something special about
I
that?
have no idea what that
A
is.
platinum spotted python. Is there a platinum spotted?
There's
I actually want to say there is.
There
and I
is.
want to say,
I
are a
just
couple
googled it to sound
mutations.
smart.
and I want to
so-
say it's in Australia, and I
Okay.
have no earthly
Yeah,
idea.
way to go, asshole.
I don't know anything.
Yeah,
I
they're
don't-
gonna. Sometimes they'll have
It is
different.
by Peter Birch.
Mhm.
Yeah. There's things that we
That's
can't translate because we're stupid Americans, and we don't get like they have like albino antareja over there. I think he may have like some type of leucism.
If-
He has a bunch of different
that-
antareja.
Okay.
That dude knows his antaresia. Like he has it down to the exact number of mice that his female needs to put on weight in order to breed again the next year.
That's intense.
Yeah, he's fucking crazy.
Okay.
There is either a spotted or children that does have some type of line bred mutation or an actual mutation.
It looks like the patternless spotted is the granite spotted, just line bred for reduced spots.
Is that
Yeah.
granite?
And the
like,
granite is a recessive mutation in the spotted python.
okay,
For those
so
for those nerds out there, Antaresia maculosa.
Okay.
yeah, I saw him. I think it was on like Mike Curtin's table or something at White Plains, and I was like, oh, I didn't know that exists, and it's only like $200. Like,
Mhm.
yeah, it's super cool, super easy to keep, and it's like really cool looking.
Oh god, they are stupid easy to keep.
Yeah,
Like aside from one thing, you want to make sure like my male lives in a V18 and it's probably about that big. My female is in the V18 with him because I think he will get out of her rack that she's in.
so instead of putting him with her because he's smaller.
Yeah. So those two are just there, which reminds me, I should probably check on them and make sure she hasn't decided to do something stupid like eat them. I opened up the tub the other day and I opened up the tub to change out waters and she had him completely wrapped up. And I'm like, well,
In a
okay.
good way or a bad way?
No, she bit him.
Ah, okay. They breed like lizards. They bite
Apparently.
around the neck and
Or bull snakes.
Bull
Is it
snakes.
well, snakes do that.
Oh,
Dude, I seen a video of them fucking. That shit is nuts. I didn't
Oh.
know. I'd be terrified if I didn't know they did that and saw that happen. I think
Yeah.
they were trying to eat each other.
It would-
Thank you.
I am extremely thankful that I had warning before I put my bull snakes together. I put them together and then I hear just this sound of these snakes thrashing around and I open it up and he's got her by the neck pinned up against the side of the cage. And I'm like, I didn't realize something with no arms and no legs could do that.
Hashtag me too.
No shit.
Oh shit! Oh shit!
Joseph.
Ah,
Oh, that was funny.
they're like, I mean, I guess you can look at their head and be like, maybe, I don't know if there's some biological reasoning to that. Maybe they're like closer in evolutionary standards to lizards or like,
Well, I
does
mean,
lizards breed like that.
I was going to say bearded dragons have that little node, that nodule thing on their side that's
specifically made for them.
specifically made for the male to grab hold of the
It's like
female.
a fucking harness.
Exactly.
Not like fucking, but like fucking, you know?
I
like-
got it.
Oh,
I got
okay,
it.
that's
I
fine.
didn't need the explanation.
That's fucking crazy. I didn't know. Fucking crazy.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah.
I thank God I had warning before that. I opened it up and I saw like, oh shit.
Well, I've been seeing
Okay.
a lot of like the retic pictures of people posting up their males that are fucked up or females rather that are fucked up because males are fucking crazy. I don't know exactly what they do, but for some reason males will chew up on females as far as retic.
Now, when I've seen that, I've never seen if you put one male with a female. I haven't seen that, but I could see that if you put multiple males to one female, and now
yeah.
that scent is still in there. So of course he's smelling another male. She moves. He mistakes her for a male. I can see that, but I don't think I can't say I've ever seen somebody's. Not to say it hasn't happened, you know, but if you have, you know, a male and a female together and that's it, I haven't seen a male attack a female. Now I could say I've seen females attack
I was
males.
going to say I've heard of females attacking
That's
males.
usually hunger. You know what I mean? Like turned around as mistaken identity. But I mean, you never know. Sometimes these bitches are crazy. They might just want to eat that
That's every
motherfucker.
species.
You ever put a male in with a female and the female like arches her back and like throws a coil or something, basically saying, I don't fucking want that dude in here? Well, if you keep the male in there, she might just decide to
Awesome.
Yeah.
Black Widow.
I mean, yeah, we only give them so much space. You're not giving a female an opportunity to get away. You're in a confine. If you're in a 6-foot cage, you're a fucking 17-foot retic.
Oh shit.
Yeah, you're not going anywhere.
The first male that I tried to put with my caramel carpet, my caramel decided to bite and wrap him.
The female?
Mm-hmm. The female decided to bite and wrap the male, and I'm like, well, apparently you're not in the mood.
So you think that's a compatibility thing, or female wasn't ready, or male wasn't good enough?
I would say it's probably a combination of compatibility and the female just wasn't in the mood.
I could see it being mostly probably just not in the mood because
Yeah.
a dog can be in heat, but if she's like not ready, you know what I'm saying? She's just not right there. She's pretty much kind of nippy, kind of get off me. But then a couple hours later, her tail's up in the air. She's pushing her butt all up on him, you know. Then she's hoeing herself out.
Yeah.
I mean, snake could be doing the same thing. It's just like, I'm not ready. And then all of a sudden, tail's up. I'm like, come get it.
So when that happened with your caramel, did you put them again together later?
Oh,
or
no.
You just were like,
I was all like, apparently you do not like this boy, and this boy is going to go somewhere else.
just gave it up.
Yeah.
Did you try a different male?
Oh,
with
yes.
that female?
Yeah, there's a different male in there.
Did it work better?
I have no earthly idea. They haven't eaten each other, and they haven't struck at each other.
Okay.
And they're cohabiting right now. I think I checked this morning, right before I took off, and she was curled up on one side.
Do you have for sale?
That top guy.
Let me see.
Right now?
Yeah.
Okay, Evan.
I just
What just came over you?
no, I was just I miss my carpets, man. I really do.
I really wish we could do a breeding one with these. I would love to make babies with the snake.
Males
I wish I actually had jungles, because I would gladly and happily do a breeding one with
Totally.
you.
It would be amazing if we could find someone to do it with us.
But yeah, I mean, someone on YouTube really went in on me because I don't hold these carpets enough. But I mean, there's just multiple. That might be Amazon. I mean, when I hold one male and then hold the next one right after it, they try to combat me like that one, because I was doing a video of all my snakes and all the carpets are males.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like I was holding, and I mean, he's as docile as can be, as you can see, like right now. But he's a little squirrely. But I mean, he's just in the
Everybody say
height
this
of
is
cooling
That's what
down.
it is.
We have a vacuum.
Yay!
Thank you, everyone listening.
This is gonna
Now you get to
If you
know
guys
we
have
a
checked out-
vacuum.
Theportcitypythons, he does have this guy available.
Yeah, I don't really post it up because it's not like I don't feel like shipping during the winter. But maybe I'll post it up nationally like sometime in spring. But then again, it's like that's also a snake that I really like. So if it doesn't sell,
What's his
then
background?
whatever.
Is he
See, that's why I'm selling
Is he
that one,
unknown?
is because that one's unknown, and then the other male that I have is mutton line or bred by Nick Mutton to a hair male. So it's just really bright, really clean, and I mean that one.
Who did you
it's
get him
nice,
from?
But this one I got from the mutton to hair was Matt Palermo. He's
okay.
rock geckos now. He only works with geckos, but that was going to be his holdback male forever. That was the only carpet he had, and then he ended up getting out of them. So, but this guy I got at
Which one was supposed to be the
someone bred him up in
girl?
Syracuse too. What was the girl?
Which one was supposed to be the girl?
Oh, this was supposed to be the girl.
Okay.
AKA why it's so big. My other males look like corn snakes. So this one is big. Yeah,
miss
so
my
I mean,
carpets, man.
I really was trying to fatten this guy up, and because I really want to keep. If I have a male, I want to keep it so I can keep it in a CB70. I don't want to get any bigger. So
I have a goal in keeping my males in a CB, in a 28 quart.
Really?
Yeah.
So, but this is the like mutton line one. It also is a dickhead, but
Of course he is.
I was trying
Just
to
go, up,
take
go
off
right
my
up
head.
underneath him.
Well, Dave doesn't mind being bit. I don't feel like it.
Hey, I'll preach to that. We were over at Ryan's house cleaning some cages, and this damn blood got out and was all up underneath the thing. That thing tagged him like 3 or 4 times in a matter of seconds.
There's some
Jeez,
people who
Louise.
just don't give a shit about being bitten, and there's other people that always give a shit. Doesn't matter how many times you're bitten. I never want to be
Do
bitten.
you know what I've discovered since I don't give a shit about getting bit. I don't get bit a whole lot.
No. That's a feed too.
That is
Yeah,
a feed
that was a feed response.
How did that not break skin?
It
Oh,
did.
it did.
It did.
So you're not bleeding.
He will.
No, it is.
It is. I actually do stuff with my hands, so I have super calloused hands, and it's just.
So Dave is the only one who came in here is like, oh, this is a pit. Let me pick that up. Oh, this hog nose that always bites you. Let me pick that one up. He just went in there without asking me much and just picked up every snake.
And I'm wondering if that has anything to do with the other male we were just handling.
Probably.
That is
that.
Well, if it was another male, would it be a feeding response?
Well, that's true.
true.
Because that was a pure feeding response.
He hit and wrapped up.
Okay, wait. What showed y'all that? Okay, let me get you paper towel.
Please.
Oh my god.
Otherwise, I'm going to bleed on the carpet.
We went full bar check on this fucking podcast right now.
Oh,
No,
shit.
we
No
weren't
one watched the
purposely.
video.
We weren't purposely trying to get.
All right, the
likes.
name of the podcast is going to be Man Eaten Alive by Jungle Carpet Python. Video here. It's about to bite you again, dude.
No, he's all right.
There we go.
Don't we have band-aids?
No, he'll be fine. He has
It's okay.
blood coagulates. But yeah, now he just wrapped you up.
Oh, yeah.
But I mean, for him, I always get those weird little side bites a lot of the time.
That's how he got me there.
Oh, he got you again.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good.
He did a side swipe to it.
So I find that I mean, he's wondering if he can bite your watch, or I don't know what he's doing. I don't know if he just thinks you're a mouse or at this point. But he's just totally got you wrapped up.
Come here, bud.
Damn coastals.
That's a small ass coastal. It's the Chihuahua of the coastals. I'm not sure if he doesn't know that you're a human now, because he doesn't. When I told him,
some
I've
of
held
them
him
some
for
of
a
them are just
while.
like that. Some of them are just. I bet he's a good eater though.
But when he doesn't know, he's a piece of shit eater. He only
Really?
eats mice.
No
He
shit.
only eats mice in your fingers. So it's
But you know what?
I may try.
I
I
never
know.
gave a shit about a male
give a
eating
rat's
mice.
No, that's
You can
her
eat mice
thing.
till you die. I'll feed you mice. Females, oh, bitch, you're gonna eat a rat or I'm gonna starve your ass.
I have a fucking IJ. That is a female IJ that is a goddamn mouser.
Is that the
And
one? That's not the one for me.
No.
I know, that bitch. I
How
couldn't
many
get her.
fucking
dude.
snakes have you
Oh,
sold?
he bought
to
a
him?
couple of them from me.
Dude,
He
that
got
one-
IJ,
That one was a mouser for you. I took him home and he ate a rat immediately.
and then never looked back.
That's what since
Oh, no,
I
no.
cooled him
I
down.
have him on
made
mice
sure.
right now only because I don't want him to get any bigger.
Did he bite you on the arm too?
Yeah. Why are you upset?
Oh, that's part of it. We love snakes.
This is part of the joy of owning these things.
No,
They
bites
bite.
are never joy.
They bite, but
This
they
is
don't
why I
hurt
don't
you.
touch that.
They
That
just have-
hurts.
You never go
I-
full
I'm
bar
going to go-
check.
I am going to go. I'm going to go full bar check on this. If you notice, I didn't pull away. I didn't do anything.
You didn't flinch. You
I didn't
move.
flinch. Didn't do anything like that.
He
So
didn't
that
put
means-
his face in the tub blindfolded.
That means
He didn't
the
do it
damage
when
to
you're
the
talking to
snake
that
was
thing.
minimal,
So what?
and
did
the
you
damage
get
to
it
me
off?
was he let go.
He
of
just
it.
let
Yeah, he just hit like a.
If I've only ever had 2 bites where I actually actively tried to get the snake.
King
off of me.
snakes.
King snake.
I've seen king snakes hold on, and we try to dip it in water in a bucket.
King snake and
Try to
spotted
drown
python. Both of
Yeah.
those have tried to eat fingers.
Yeah, I mean, king snakes will be feed responses to the point where they will fucking die before they let go of whatever they're trying to eat.
He's gonna bite you
There we
again.
go. Let's see if we can get this thing off. There we go.
Let's put him
He's probably gonna.
away.
He's gonna probably chill out now.
No,
No,
No.
he's like sometimes.
no. He's
He's
not.
a
There's just those snakes that just never fucking.
There are those snakes that are just dickheads. And this
Yeah.
one might be just that snake that's a
And
dickhead.
he's pretty cool, but it's not.
Yeah, let's sell this one.
No, this is a beautiful snake. I don't care what.
Wait.
you do.
Between the 2 of them, sell that one.
Yeah, no shit. I know.
But he-
I would rather get bit every day and
This
have a
one-
nicer snake.
I'm going to see if I can say this without sounding terribly rude.
Do it.
This one you can tell is actually yellow. That one is
Yeah.
a very dirty yellow. It's
Yeah.
a very clean black, but a very dirty yellow. And you're gonna keep this one.
I know.
Okay, but how do you make it less dickish? We've talked so many times about
Well, Dave's doing it right now. He's obviously taming him
But you
down.
don't, I don't know. So many people are like, "How do I tame my snake?" And
You don't
especially with
tame
green
snakes.
trees, I'm always like, "Leave them alone."
People
But
say that
just,
keepers have an effect on
that's
how
not that.
docile
But that snake's not that
are.
much of a dick. It's really not compared to some snakes. That snake's not that much of a dick. He just really wants to be left alone.
But I mean, that always goes to like species. Are you gonna tame some scrub pythons? No. AKA, it's not worth it. And B, it's like they kind of always have that instinct sometimes. And I mean, just there's those fucking snakes that just don't give a shit what you do. They just don't. They just don't like to be bothered.
He is. He's working. He's trying to
nuzzle already.
He's just gonna turn off the watch.
I can't tell if he's trying to get me or he's trying to get the watch.
Yeah, like if you can't see the snake, he's got Dave coiled up his whole hand, and his head is on his watch, so he doesn't know like where to bite him, but he's looking for something to eat. And he's like, if I could just find a piece of flesh to put my teeth into.
Do you want another piece?
No, I'm good. Thank you.
Snake bites just bleed a lot because they have skinny,
because they're bites,
sharp teeth.
Their saliva doesn't help matters.
And their saliva is anticoagulant.
Oh, so it keeps it free
Look
flowing.
At you, that massive vocabulary.
I use the word coagulant like 10 times.
Are all snakes?
All snakes are
saliva like that?
venomous.
Whoa. Dr. Brian Greg Fry, who is probably the most, researched snake herpetologist venom or venom in general. He says that all snakes are probably venomous, just like all spiders are venomous. They just have, enhanced proteins.
Which makes a lot of sense, like your garters and stuff, because
your garters are actually much more venomous than a lot of the venomous snakes. They just don't have the opportunities. Just kind of like, your fucking daddy long legs or whatever.
So are all snakes' saliva anticoagulants?
Which I guess you could consider venom if they
have that.
Kind of like, what was it, Komodo dragons? Because for a long time they were just saying it was bacteria. Now they're saying that they're actually venomous.
And the one who made that assumption, or that did the study to make that, was Brian Greg Fry. So the same guy that found out that Komodos have venom and venom sacs. They have giant jowls, so people just thought they had strong jaws, but it's actually fucking venom.
So I wonder if that's all monitors. Because I mean,
it might be all monitors, maybe all fucking snakes. It might be all every reptile. Who knows?
It's pretty crazy.
I think just about everybody who's got monitors has said that a monitor bite is probably the worst bite you could possibly get.
And then the teeth too. I mean, especially look at a croc monitor. Those croc monitors.
It's just a combination of probably the saliva, like they were just talking about the venom.
What's wrong with you?
You're scared now.
Oh, there he goes. He's trying.
Yeah,
he's
a little too stupid.
He's all right.
But like something like a big monitor has serrated teeth, and they're not recurved teeth for holding on. They're more serrated to rip shit apart. So if you get hit with a monitor, even an iguana, dude, you can get ripped apart pretty easily. And iguanas are just fucking savages.
I'm good. I'm not actively bleeding.
Melissa's over having a heart attack. She's like, oh my god!
Of those two, keep that one.
No. I absolutely love that snake. The look of it. I don't give a shit what it acts like. I don't care if it only eats mice. I don't care if it eats fucking crickets. It's staying here.
Someone just came on the podcast and was like, well, you just missed a whole lot.
This is like really confusing for people listening.
They'll listen later.
We're doing our own thing.
Well.
Sorry, guys. The audio quality already sucks because we're trying to mic up the whole room with too many of us, and then we're playing with snakes and all this shit.
Let's get a mic sponsorship too. Get sponsored by Audio Technica. You can just mic up the whole room. That'd be pretty awesome.
Most people don't care to be associated with snakes or snake breeders or anything.
Well, clearly YouTube wants nothing to do with us because they review every video and say
if
it's not suitable.
If you put like ball python in the title or breeding, you get demonetized and all that shit.
No shit. You demonetized forever or just for a week?
I can review it, but sometimes they review it and turn it green. Sometimes they don't. Sometimes it doesn't go into review. So enough for them to give a shit. So I mean,
because there was a big thing in the fitness community about them demonetizing everything.
Yeah, that happened across the board for everyone. So, but with snakes, it's bad because you use words that you don't realize. because like I have a video about sexing corn snakes. Turns out sexing is a bad word out of context, obviously. Like sexing is something you would demonetize.
I was gonna say only in the reptile community could you say something like, "Here, hold my balls."
Yeah.
And not have it be
derogatory.
Did you know that male balls have two penises?
You know that all snakes have two penises?
Yeah, but balls especially.
Oh, okay. Good to know.
Okay, I'm not.
I don't think any teeth broke off in me, so he should be good as far as.
Yeah, I mean that's your only danger about getting bit by snakes is that like like I had my ground boa who bit a fucking water bowl, knocked out a tooth, and then it got infected. And
God!
We tried to treat it, everything like that, and it got too out of control before we were able to treat it. Like we were able to find a medicine or go into surgery to treat it. So like she died because of striking the water bowl. That's why it's like, why the fuck would you make your snakes bite you on purpose? I understand.
Trust me, that was not on purpose.
But... No. I'm saying, but it's like it's mostly like inanimate objects.
Are you talking about bar checking?
I'm talking about animals. How dare you put words in my mouth?
Coyote Peterson.
I'm talking about. There's a few people with ponytails who do certain things. No, but
so when snakes lose teeth, what's the course of action?
Well, they regenerate a new tooth, correct?
If they're broken, if their teeth get broken or there's gum damage, which can happen if they bite you and you jerk away,
it can pull it.
Yes, you can actually yank teeth out that way, and when you do that, you can damage the gum line. When you damage the gum line, they can get infected. When they get infected, it's very bad.
Whole sort of thing.
Yes.
Because there's no way, your snake's not going to use mouthwash. I tried the beta iodine or whatever, and it doesn't really do much.
I have a witch's brew that does pretty decent, but it's a combination of betadine, iodine, and mouthwash.
Yeah, I think I got beta iodine.
Yeah, I just put some Dr. Pepper in his mouth.
Yeah,
Dr. Pepper cures everything.
The doctor got it. It's fine.
So, what's the time period for regeneration of a tooth?
Mr. Biologist, Dr. Pepper, anyone?
You know that? I don't know.
I have no idea. I know that
you gotta be careful feeding like my green trees. They especially snakes with the longer teeth.
Mm-hmm.
I feed them on tongs, and so I'm always trying to. I give them frozen thawed most of the time, but I'm always trying to get the tongs at the top of the mouse's butt, like as far so there's as much of the mouse hanging down. So he'll miss the tongs. I've always got one that he wants to come under, and then he'll, for whatever reason, hit the butt, and then hit the tongs and wrap up the tongue. Fucking dumb snake.
And you hear that sound of their teeth.
Well, see, and then my retic female the other day, man, I was feeding her, and she hit the tongs. I mean, she hit them hard, wrapped them up. You can see her teeth on them, and I'm just like, no, just let them go. And I couldn't do nothing. I didn't want to pull them, so I just set them down.
And whether you have the rubberized ones or the just regular metal ones, they all suck as far as that goes.
I mean,
your skin's much more forgiving.
You couldn't use anything. You couldn't even use like chopsticks, like anything you use, their teeth can hit. And so,
will they still eat when they've lost a tooth?
Mm-hmm. Oh, they don't give a fuck about their teeth.
So then, what are you also scared about? As long as you treat it immediately, as long as you treat it immediately, what's the big deal? They come back.
It's the residual infection that comes up.
Oh, Austin's
also
hand looks good. It's
the possibility.
If you see it, you'll treat it immediately, right? So what's the big
I can tell you, I've had teeth broken in me, and
that sounds weird.
Yeah. And
I've had so many things in me.
You see what had happened was
the female that did that is still alive and well and in my collection right now, and never had any mouth problems.
Okay.
But I don't know if that's because of really good keeping, whether or not it was because just how she hit.
General chance.
Did you do something after? You didn't do anything. Mm-hmm. Okay, but if you know there's a chance, why not go get it treated immediately after?
Teeth fall out all the time. As far as I know, Ian Bissell, he was on NPR, and he checks the fecals of a lot of his green trees, and sometimes he'll find shed teeth in there and stuff. So they shed teeth, but when it's appropriate. So.
I was going to say you've got gaboons, so have I. I have a
God. I miss my gaboons, man.
I used to have a collection of puff adder and gaboon teeth that I found while cage cleaning. I didn't even sift through fecals or anything.
Just found them in the cage.
Just found them in the cage. and I probably had 3-4 dozen teeth.
But that regrows back.
Oh yeah, it's like shark teeth. They fall out, they grow right back.
Every once in a while.
So you're just worried about the gum.
You're worried about the damage to the gum.
Okay.
And then you have to make sure you provide an optimum condition for the snake to have a perfect immune system to fight off anything that comes. And then you have to be on the ball and watch the snake and make sure that the gum, if they do have gum damage, that it doesn't get out of hand.
Why not just shoot it up
because you don't, because that's how you get super viruses and super bacteria.
If you can't, that doesn't,
we have,
it can hurt it to give it the help
we
early?
We have drug resistant infections in humans and in reptiles. We have entire things of respiratory infections that are resistant to antibiotics.
Okay.
Specifically because people catch a little bit of a sniffle, and instead of letting the snake deal with it on its own, raising temperature, something, they shoot it full of Baytril.
Which is
totally mine. I would do that too. I'm like,
yeah.
Okay, let's prevent it getting worse. Let me just. I don't know. That's how my brain works.
You need to reach a happy medium between medicine and kind of letting the snake's immune system
waiting a little bit, but not too long. Okay, you gotta find that.
If a human takes antibiotics every time it gets a sniffle, your immune system's gonna drop, and the bacteria you host are.
But you always have the antibiotics, so what does it matter?
Yeah, but they'll be resistant to that antibiotic.
It's like Austin just said. He said he never messes with them unless they show signs of infection. It's not worth stressing them out.
Exactly.
So you don't want to
because stress can also make them more susceptible to that infection.
Giving them the antibiotic stresses them out.
Yes.
Because I mean, you got to think of what you're going through.
Well, no,
with that,
you have to think about it like this. All right, take a human being.
As soon as I get a cold, I take medicine.
What medicine do you take?
But you don't take antibiotics.
Acetaminophen and.
No. Those are treating the symptoms. Those are not treating the actual cold. Acetaminophen doesn't treat the actual cold. All you're doing is treating the symptom. Acetaminophen will treat the fever.
What treats the cold?
The cold is a virus. There's nothing you can do for that other than let it run its course.
Okay.
Think about it in humans. Okay, we have stresses. We have work stress. We have
boyfriend stress.
We have home stress. We have life stress.
Wife stress.
Yeah. We have life stress and everything else. As long as your stress level stays below this line right here, you have a perfectly functional immune system. Same thing with the snake. Believe it or not, that snake right there has stress. It has some giant goofball who opens up the cage every day or every 2 days to check on water and check on hide spots and stuff like that. So you try to minimize stress. Handling is stress. Handling is taking the snake out of its environment where it is comfortable and happy. And then you're going to restrain it, which is not good for it, which is not good as far as stress level goes. And you're going to inject it with a needle, which it doesn't understand, because you can't look at the snake and go, hey, I'm going to shoot you with this medicine. I'm going to give you a shot of this medicine, and it's going to help you. They don't understand that.
Also, Baytril is causing site necrosis and stuff that probably pains the snake. So it's probably even hurting on a level of, the fact that if you give, that's why when you give Baytril, you have to go to different injection spots, or else you will literally burn their skin. So it probably burns every time you do it. It's probably honestly not the best. I think they have a new antibiotic out there for snakes that I see that is a little bit better at treating snakes. But imagine every human got something and we just gave them penicillin and nothing else. So it's like, if you have a staph infection, you're fucking dead. So that's where we are kind of with snakes, is we always give them penicillin. But they may have a staph infection to where, it's gone beyond. And with captive keeping, we've made them more resistant because we give them so much resistant than we give them Baytril.
Oh, just the spots?
That spot right there is from Baytril injections when you had a respiratory infection.
That spot.
Yes.
So if you guys don't know what necrosis is, it's basically like degradation of all the tissue. It's not like it kills tissue. So like Dave showed this spot on a snake where it's just black. It's just like dead tissue from giving Baytril injection.
It was from a Borneo short-tailed python that I had way, way, way back in the day. And I found actual like pictures of it and took pictures with my phone to upload it to show everybody. Okay. And I wanted to know if that was before or after I gave him, because he eventually died of a recurring respiratory infection.
Could have been Nido.
Hey,
possibly.
You said the words.
Blood pythons are known for, they have a very long, their lung is, it's almost impossible to get all the bacteria and everything out of them.
Why?
And just the way that their anatomy is set up.
Snakes' lungs go like a majority of their fucking body. They have long lungs, and pretty much when you get a respiratory,
can't like open it up. We open humans.
Even with
I can't
humans,
open a
I mean,
snake
there's
up.
not many lungs. You can't repair many lungs, can you?
So,
I mean, it's rough as far as medicine. I mean, if you guys haven't listened to the Nidovirus episode of GTP Keeper Radio,
I'm halfway through.
They just did a new one.
I'm halfway through episode 2 right now.
And I mean, they're discussing on how we have antibiotics for bacteria and we have protozoa bacteria, whatever, but we don't have any antiviral medicines. That's just
we barely have antivirals for humans.
Yeah, which is weird because Justin Julander, who wrote the book on green trees and carpets and all that stuff, and Teresa, he actually is a virologist or whatever the fuck you call it. I don't even know. But he tries to fight viruses in humans. And actually, the Nidovirus is the longest strand fucking virus they found in anything so far, and it's in snakes. And it's the longest strand virus out of any of the viruses. So there are some viruses like herpes that stay there, and viruses depend on their host to live in order for them to live. Or there's viruses like HIV, which is eventually going to kill you. So it's like,
AIDS kills you.
Right, but you know what I'm fucking getting at. But it makes you sick enough to die. So maybe
technically AIDS doesn't kill you.
Not if you've got money.
The HIV virus suppresses your immune system, and then it's usually it's the secondary infections that get you.
Which seems like maybe Nido's something like that.
Yeah.
Where it's dormant for so long for the whole time for some animals, but sometimes
some of them can be carriers and be non-symptomatic.
Someone can have babies that don't carry. And then you have forever. We were like, why do chondros drop dead instantly? And it seems like we may have found at least one thing.
We may have actually stumbled upon a legitimate reason why chondros randomly die.
These are so hard to keep.
Yeah.
Oh wait, they have this virus that,
Someone said, has Dave ever owned rough scales?
No. I've played with some, but I have never owned any.
Bill does. Bill has rough scales.
I'm gonna get some and bring them to a jag.
I was going to say, when Bill breeds his, I will own them.
Yeah, that's something else I want as a rough scale. Those are just so. If you've never handled a rough scale, and I mean, they're just so badass. And that threat display. Oh my gosh!
I'm about to give you a bull snake.
I don't know what you mean by that, but that sounds scary.
I'm about to get flamed by just about everybody in the Morelia community, but Boelens do absolutely nothing for me.
Mr. Boelen shirt. Right
maybe it's because I've always lived here, where we've had them at the Fort Worth Zoo, and Ari's been here, and you can usually find them at certain times of year. So to me, they've never really been that.
They're what? They're too common for you?
No.
They're like a shitty jungle.
No. It's nothing like that. It's like I don't
know these people.
I don't get it.
Love
However,
I don't really get it 100%.
Rough scales, I didn't understand until I actually physically held one.
What changed?
Oh, they are special. They are they are amazing.
I've looked at them and they don't do anything for me.
They are amazing.
Man, the
way
eyes,
the way they move,
gray eyes,
the way they feel, it's different.
They feel different than other snakes.
Well,
they're keeled.
Yeah. But we don't have many pythons that are keeled besides Angolans and scales.
Angolans aren't really keeled; they're more beaded.
Like those beaded.
Yeah. And you get kind of the same effect with Womas. Kind of feel the same way. I don't know. I don't know if they're the exact same because I don't own Angolan, so I have no comparison.
Yeah.
But Womas feel kind of different with it.
What else is keeled?
Bull snakes, pine snakes, all the pits and stuff. There's a whole bunch of
rattlesnakes.
keeled,
yeah.
keeled
Like
colubrids and
rattlesnakes. Yeah.
Beaded lizards.
But I was at Tinley once, and I was like, "Hey man, that's an Angolan python." And the guy's like, "Yeah, I just bought it," and it started like coughing, and I'm like, "Okay, I'm never gonna own these things. Like, what is this snake doing right now?" I just saw it moving around. I was like, "I'm sure."
No, Angolans
snake,
don't.
Dude. That's good.
Angolans don't do like white lips do. White lips cough up hairballs. I don't know what I would do if I
maybe
caught it in the act of
freak out. Maybe they're meant to eat strictly amphibians and reptiles.
Maybe.
I know that there was a study on corn snakes. Someone did a batch of corn snakes that eat just pinkies and shit that are slit first, and then ones that eat them without broken skin. And the corns that eat them with broken skin, since corns in the wild eat mostly like amphibians and reptiles to begin with, they found that the corns grow a lot faster and do a lot better with that slit skin.
Really?
So it's like, I was wondering maybe if green trees are the same way as far as you get prolapse because they don't digest. Because when my green tree prolapsed, it had a lot of undigested mouse in it, like the hair and everything. Maybe if we slit them vertically, gave it to them, even though green trees have much larger teeth, I'm sure they get through that skin a lot easier than corns. But I mean,
they still may not be able. Their digestive tract may not be designed to get through that much hair and skin and all that.
I've heard that about the rats. That's why a lot of people say don't feed rats to green trees because the fur is more coarse and this and that. I don't know, but I just think they do less than ball pythons, in my opinion. So I don't see the point in giving them a big rat. I don't think rats are necessarily the cause of prolapse unless you're given too big of a meal to an animal.
Quite frankly, they just don't eat a lot, I think.
But I mean, I don't know because I don't feed mine rats, period. But
yeah, either do
I.
I just want to be cautious.
I talked with somebody who keeps king cobras because king cobras don't seem to have the same problem, but God damn it, what are they called? Blackheads have the same problem. They eat 90% of their diet is reptiles, and they eat fierce snakes, bearded dragons, that type of stuff. Yeah. We feed, so they're used to eating something that might have the nutritional value of, like a chicken wing, and instead we're feeding them a rump roast every time we feed them a rat.
Yeah.
So
that I can imagine that does a lot to you, like your kidneys or liver or whatever filters out that fat, and you probably have trouble somehow digesting that in comparison to something like a reptile who barely has any fat.
I would probably venture to say that 90% of the reptiles in captivity are overfed and fat. I know one of mine is definitely.
We're talking about feeding and weights. I know a lot of people will talk about.
That's a dog.
A lot of people talk about the exercise in their animals so they don't just get obese.
Dixie.
And I feel like, live feeding sometimes is exercise. Like they're gonna live feed, they're gonna chase it, they're gonna eat it. And I honestly don't have an issue with live feeding. I don't. A lot of people are like, "Oh, I paid this much for my snake." It's supervised. And if you watch snakes eat live foods, most of your snakes that eat live don't just jump in there and grab it. King snakes, king snake will grab it by the side and not give a shit. They're just like that. But I've seen most of my pythons, especially my green trees that I fed live, it's like they'll get down on it and they'll watch it. And as long as its face isn't to it, if the rodent turns around and looks at it, the snake backs up. When the rat turns around and tries to walk off with the mouse, the snake proceeds. You know what I'm saying? He looks to not get bit in the face. They're smart. They've been doing this for millions of years. And I'm not against, live feeding. Every now and then, I'll toss a live feeder in there because they're going to move around. And, I don't like to handle my green trees. So I don't, they need exercise. So I'm going to take them out and hold them. I want them to poop. You want them to poop? I'll let that motherfucker poop when he decides to poop. He hasn't shit for like 3 or 4 weeks.
What do you do with the blood
python?
Warm
water in there. You know what I mean?
What do you do with the blood python that doesn't shit for 6 months?
My dad had a blood python for like 4 months. He's like, I've never seen it shit. I was like, well, that's just
when it does, it will look like a human. It will look like a human went into his tub and took a gigantic shit.
Caboons. And if you look at a blood and a gaboon, it's the same body structure. That short, fat body. And they do the exact same shit, the exact same thing. My gaboon, my big female, she was 3.5 feet. Oh, I think I had her, I don't even remember how long. I had her for like a year or something. And I think she shit maybe 3 times. So and I just
same with Candoya.
They're so big.
On the subject of feeding live, I had 2 clutches of carpet pythons. One that was done prior to me starting to breed my own rats, and then one that was after I started. There was a difference in the muscle structure of the ones after I started breeding my own rats. Because when I breed my own rats, I feed live. It is just way fucking easier. You go in there and you pull up a tub and you go, okay, I want this, this, or this. And then you go in and you feed and you put them back when you're done.
Now, are we talking, baby roads or adults?
Both.
Because that matters too.
Both.
To an extent.
I tended to feed mice. I tend to feed mice until they're big enough to eat a crawler rat.
And are these like hopper mice so they move around more? Or? Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But there's a difference in the muscle structure of a snake that has eaten frozen thawed its entire life versus eaten live. There is on a cellular level when you freeze food. It's a subtle difference, but the way that they work is different. Because
but would like a novice notice it, or only someone who keeps them and sees them every day? Like, can I come in?
I keep snakes all the time.
Probably
I would notice. So
probably not. I was looking for something like that, so you
had it planted in your head already.
Yeah, and it's a little bit of a difference in the muscle structure. I mean, think about it. If oh god, I'm trying to think. No. Think about it from the snake's perspective. When they wrap it, they can feel what's going on with the rat. They know what's going on with the rat. That initial wrap and that initial coil that goes over it is the same whether it's a frozen thawed or it's
right. Which I've always wondered why. If you know it, don't they know it's dead?
Some snakes do pick up on that. Some snakes
all of ours wrap it, even though they're all dead.
A lot of the corns don't though.
I've
seen a lot.
I've had blood pythons that get wise to me feeding dead. And they
Candoya, they'll never strike it. Do you leave it in there? They'll take it.
But my king rat does the same thing.
Really?
He won't eat.
There's just some shy species that don't want you anywhere near it, so it's better to just leave.
So it has nothing to do with them knowing if it's dead or alive. It just has to do with their shyness.
Snakes aren't very smart, but
I would venture with the blood pythons that they know that it's live, they know that it's dead. Difference. Yeah, they know the difference. But that initial wrap is the same. Now, what happens after that initial wrap is going to be different, whether it's alive or it's dead, because they can feel whether or not their heart's beating.
They're
or
all
not.
that, right.
Yeah, so they're using more muscle
to feel that heart beating.
Yeah, until it stops. They're going to keep tightening up. So they're using more muscle. That makes a lot of sense.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas thawed, it's already dead, so it's like that wrap.
It's
like
it's
dead.
Let me chill.
You need more reps.
So basically, you're doing a lot more work.
So it's kind of like you go and you do.
It makes a lot of sense.
You go and do 30 pounds like this versus 31 rep versus 50 reps.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
So are you saying the muscles are stronger for live?
Yeah, because you're using more muscle.
You would use more, and they use it differently.
And maybe that's semi-significant, being that snakes just don't use much energy to begin with. So even though that's
who was
tiny
it?
Bit,
somebody I heard, it might have been Ryan. They tagged a female retic, and it went off into a waller somewhere after eating like an antelope or something, and didn't move for a year.
Well, shit.
And you have to think that snake has the way that the reptile muscles and everything work are completely different from the way that we work. If we don't do anything for a year, yeah, what happens? You can't stand
Your
up.
Your legs are done.
But that snake, after sitting there digesting that meal for a year, go out and be able to kill it again.
Right.
So the muscles have to be different.
They're just so much better at energy conservation and using their energy. For some reason, they just naturally know how to use their energy to a perfect fucking point.
Mm-hmm.
I don't get it. We're just too stupid to understand sometimes with like there's more going on as far as we probably feed our snakes so wrong, and we've gotten them to breed over all this time, but who knows what they're, we never eat their native, we never feed them their native food or anything like that.
We don't even come anywhere near to their native food.
With any other species of thing that you keep, you think you get a little bit closer.
The only one that we come,
dogs.
the only one that we come close to feeding their.
We don't their wild, so there's a lot of shit we don't do in the
raw
wild.
Food.
I was like, I have one on my heart.
We don't give a shit. No,
but
cats eat in the wild, but
the only one that we come close to feeding their natural prey item, and there's a whole bunch of legal issues with raising them. Is the only reason why they're not well prevalent is African softwoods and ball pythons.
Yeah.
Other than that, we rely
We're
primarily.
wrong continent. We're wrong everywhere.
Yeah, we have an over reliance on the what is that? The domestic mouse and the domestic mouse and the Norwegian rat.
Is that like a European kind of rat that we use?
It's the standard rat that we have.
Yeah. I mean, I found that my corn snakes that only eat a nose, but I give them a nose. I can give them a nose every 3 weeks instead of a mouse every 1 week. Mm-hmm. They actually keep better body structure than a pinky every 6 days, every 4 days, whatever the hell it is at that point. But I mean, I find that just if we were able to breed a nose and people, and I didn't care about selling corn snakes, then I would probably just keep them on a nose because A, they like them right out of the egg no matter what. And B, I feel like they keep better body structure on reptiles or on,
I have a hatchling king rat that wants chick heads.
Just the head?
It's too big for the actual chick.
Oh, okay.
The chick is too big for the snake, so it's just a head.
Everybody loves head.
We may have talked about this. I'm moving on.
He liked his own joke. Like this,
well, no, it was just how she was like, yeah. Anyway.
We may have talked about this the last time you were on, but I can't remember. But can you give a little backstory on your rat breeding Owlsbacks? We're trying to get into that in the near future. Well, we want to get into it in the near future. It probably won't happen. But yeah, give a little.
What are you talking about?
If we get some money.
Buy racks. Do a watering system. Do not do
bottles.
Expect to have a couple of drowns because
you want to do you do like the copper nozzles?
The one that I had was copper.
Because I heard that those they don't drown as easily as far as biting off the hose or whatever.
What the rats will do is rats are fucking retarded. They will take bedding and stick it up in there and lock it open, and then it'll just continually drip. So you have to go in there a lot and double check and make sure that everything's working. I'm about to go really perverted on you. You have to play with your nipples a lot.
Hey.
It happened. It happened. So why did you get into it? Dixie!
Because for $20 a month, no, $35 a month, about 15.
You too could feed a starving snake.
About $10 a month in bedding and about $20 a month in food. I could feed I could feed my entire collection.
I saw like his cart the other day for rats like $260. That's all you spend.
But your time breeding rats is way more involved than breeding snakes. I spent way more time with my rats than I ever did with my snakes.
You're constantly cleaning because I've got a rat rack that I built, and it probably cost me $60, $75 to do everything I want to do, and it's like a 6-tub rack. And I've bred for a while, and I got tired of it, But yeah,
it's a lot.
I lost my space is what happened with me. It's the reason why I don't
sucks
anymore.
Because you like you said. I mean, I love Big Cheese. I order through Big Cheese, but what you're paying for that too. But I mean, it's just what you're paying for what you need. You buy a couple, build your own racks, buy some racks, and get some rats going. Oh, you got a steady supply, and you're not depending on this or waiting on this.
Make your shit back in a month.
And it's sitting empty. Actually, I need to get some rats.
I could feed my 30 snake collection on a 6-tub rat rack.
How many rats you got right now?
I have
none.
And
I got frozen.
I'm running about as many animals, probably more towards like 40, 50 with the corns, but it's still little mice and stuff. But I'm still running probably $125 a month or so on feeders. So I could probably feed my collection on what you were producing on that 6 rack you know, for what you said, $20 a month.
Austin can probably attest to this. In the order of stink, mice are the worst.
Yep.
My three tub mouse rack stunk worse than my 15 rat tubs.
Now, are they more? I've heard they're more susceptible to shit as far as like eating their babies.
Oh God,
like
mice are horrible.
Assholes as far as produce, like harder to reproduce than rats is what I heard.
Mice and soft furs are both very susceptible to eating their babies. You have to get everything perfect, and even then, even when you have everything perfect, the first litter they might eat half of them. What I discovered with mice, I don't have a whole lot of experience breeding soft furs. I've bred them off and on, but I don't have a whole lot. With mice, with the looks like she's about ready to pop, you stop cleaning the cage. Don't clean the cage until the pinkies have fuzz on them.
Why do you think that is?
Just keep the environment the same, cut down on the stress.
So they're like, oh, let me eat my babies.
Pretty much.
They freak out.
They freak the fuck out, and then you clean the cage, and then they don't know where anything is. Nothing smells the same, and then they eat their babies.
When in doubt, eat your babies. Because, I mean, I guess emergency, you're like, something's going wrong. Let me get as much food in me as possible. So.
But mice stink the worst. Rats are next, and then soft furs stink a little bit less.
What I see, no, soft furs are pieces of shit.
They're assholes.
As far as you pick them up, they'll bite.
They'll bite
and
the
live
shit.
shit.
But why
I've
don't
gone
you pick
over
up the mice or something? Why you don't like to play with them
savages.
like snake? You don't need to touch them.
I know that Austin's African soft furs are actually fairly tame.
I don't know what's going on outside. Sorry.
Someone's fucking taking something down the stairs and doesn't know how to lift it up.
No shit. Austin's are actually fairly tame, but he's worked with them to get them that way. Mice are also horrible about biting you and everything else. Rats.
So what did you do them in your house?
I had a garage and a shed in the backyard.
That's what we're trying to figure out. Like in the future, we're either going to have a basement that's well ventilated, or you're going.
You want a shit ton of fucking ventilation.
I want him to go to a warehouse, like a random.
But maybe just even a separate fucking.
Yeah, I don't even want him in our house with that. I don't think. Because it just the way y'all talk about the smell.
The smell is awful.
Well, see, I had my rats in the house, and they weren't bad.
Really?
When I had
they weren't bad, but I stayed on top of them too.
When I had 3 or 4 tubs, I had 3 or 4 tubs of rats, and I was breeding inside my house. It was every 2 or 3 days I had to go in there and clean.
Yeah,
but
sounds about right.
I stayed on top of it, and it wasn't bad.
Where do you put them when you clean?
You have extra bins, right? So you have one ready, you put them in, and then clean the other one. I mean, but it fills up quick.
It is a fuck ton of work.
But it saves so much money.
Yes, it does.
And if you can get them to breed them and sell them to other people.
That's actually where I ended up making my rats ended up paying for themselves because I had blues, tans,
what you're talking about.
pieds, hoodeds.
Fancy
yes.
All I know was feeder rats, so they just look
and my absolute favorite ones.
You had a favorite rat?
I had a couple favorite rats. Hairless. It looks like it looks like a gigantic ball sack, and it feels like
a ball sack.
It is so.
Does it feel like what a pinky feels like?
No, it feels like a ball sack.
Yeah.
But a pinky's hairless, so
no,
it feels like a ball sack. Not just looks like it.
No. It gets even weirder because it's like the porn star ball sack because it's shaved.
It's like Khalifa's side.
Exactly.
Okay.
Here,
by the way,
I'll show you.
Wait, pause. Speaking of that, earlier in the podcast, someone said, someone joined the podcast and they were like, I think I saw a picture of that guy shirtless today on the internet, and I don't know which one.
Hey, that's right.
You,
that's right.
Or
Dad
like
bod.
something we were talking about.
No, it was me.
Oh,
I took a picture because I'm not on that whole New Year, New Me kick. It's nothing like that. Cigarettes. I do want to work out and get in shape, and I need to feel a little better because. And I know it's my eating habits. I drink a lot of soda. I was smoking cigarettes. I was doing like all the bad shit you can do. fuck this, I need to feel better. And I did. I took a picture and I was like, dad bod, you know, and time to work out.
Okay.
It wasn't nothing like playing with my nipples or nothing. It was like time to get in fucking shape. Because I mean, to be honest, I went fishing the other night and I was telling Joe, like, I caught this fish and I was so far out there and I'm reeling this shit in. And I was fucking dying, you know, like I'm reeling this fish in and he's 15-pound fish. And I felt like I was having a stroke. Like I'm out here like, oh my God, I'm fucking tired. I'm so out of shape, just trying to reel in a fish. And I was like, fuck that, you know. So it's time to do something different. I got rid of the cigarettes. I'm slowly weaning myself off of Dr. Pepper.
I would say don't even do.
I thought cigarettes make you skinny.
Only if you trade it off for food. So if you trade off addictions, but if you got both the addictions, then it's not.
Like I said in your post, take half your Dr. Pepper, replace it with water, and then start walking after every meal, and then see how you feel after. See how you feel after a couple of weeks of that, and then add in. You don't need to go to the gym with like me and then try to keep up with me because you'll wake up tomorrow morning and you will be so sore. You
just walk.
Yeah, and then you don't want to do anything for 2 weeks.
Yeah, that's how I feel. When
and
I
you're not
work out with him.
I was going to say, if you're not like me and addicted to the soreness, it will suck.
It's a weird addiction. Okay. I've never met
some people
addicted to soreness.
Some people like pain. Dave
Sounds
does the S&M and stuff.
I especially
AKA
like the,
why he likes to get bit.
I especially love the clips of the nipples. Let me just say.
And he'll hook them up to a battery. He hooks them up to a car battery. Do it again, baby. Do it again.
I'm sorry, I got y'all way off topic.
Was there an actual topic?
I'm supposed to be the one that keeps y'all on topic.
I don't
even
know.
know.
I actually ball sacks and
I actually think it's worse with her here.
No, y'all with the last time y'all were here, it was terrible. I walked in and y'all were way.
I have ADHD. Apparently, he has the same thing, so we just bounce off of each other. And
Evan's all hopped up on Dr. Pepper, so you never know.
No, really, that's my second one. Third one.
Okay, so you said a lot, but what would be the one greatest tip for someone that's getting into breeding rats? Like
be patient.
Good ventilation.
Be patient and good ventilation.
I will tell you that, being patient, because I remember what happened. There was a lady that posted something about free rats, and I needed some feeders. And so I went over there, and she's like, how many do you want? And I'm like, however many you're giving me. If they're free, cool, whatever. I'm thinking she's going to give me like 4 or 5 rats. She comes out with this tub, like a tote tub full of rats. And she's like, pick whatever. So I start going through there. All of a sudden, her son or boyfriend comes out with another tub, then another tub. And she literally pulled out like 200 rats. And I'm like, holy shit. And she's like, take what you want. And I was like, well, shit. Bloop, 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 bloop. I went home. I literally went home with like 30 adult, about sub-adult and adult rats. I went home, fed everybody I had to feed. Went to Home Depot, bought my shit, built my rack. I had those rats, I would say, 2 months. And I'm like, they're not doing anything. Why aren't they breeding? I thought you put them together and they just fucking make babies. That was not happening. Everyone's like, be patient, be patient, be patient. And I'm sitting here like, it's been 2 months, they're not breeding. Within 2 weeks after me saying this, all my females were fucking huge. And I was like, and then all of a sudden it just boom. I had babies out the ass. Dave knows you were commenting on the babies I was having. Dude, I had Jesus.
You will sit there when you first start your rack, it will sit there and you will look at them and you will go in there every day and you will go, what the fuck is going on? What the fuck is going on? And then next thing you know,
you got more rats than you know what to do.
You will get pissed off and you'll go post on Facebook and then somebody like me will go, just be fucking patient, give it time. And the next thing, like 2 weeks later, you will post on there and go, you will post on there and go, anybody want some rats?
And that time worked because then I started pulling stuff. I would let it, do my little grow out rack, freezing, pulling it, freezing, feeding off live. Like I was loving it because I wasn't spending that $200-300 a month on feed bill.
The only
feed bill was I was spending $20 on a bag of Missouri and $20-30 on bedding, and that was it.
Who
I'm sorry, I don't know why that
she didn't fucking
I don't know why I purred weirdly. But like that sounds amazing, but also
there's a lot of work.
It sounds like work for me.
I'm not gonna touch it. But it's amazing because there's more money for other stuff.
No, you say that. So you know what's gonna happen is you're gonna see one little rat that you like. And rats are
they are pretty like
person. I don't think they're very a lot of personality. and they're very smart. They're a lot like dogs. And a lot of people have this misconception that, oh, rats are dirty because they live in sewers. Rats are very fucking clean animals. They cannot stand to be dirty.
I've owned pet rats and I've bred rats. They are not dirty. They are very, very, very clean.
The whole rodent family is out.
You say that.
They're out.
I will say
little
that
Dumbo. The big ears.
Dumbo is an elephant.
Get you a little Dumbo. Tell her she gets a little blue Dumbo or a little blue hood.
Oh,
it's game over.
No. A Dumbo blue hood.
Yeah, they got the ears to the side instead of on top.
They're
so that soft blue
gray.
Anything we put in a trap, I'm not gonna fall in love with.
Mice put snakes in traps.
Mice and African soft furs, both bite the fuck out of you, like for no reason. The only issue I've ever had with biting from rats is on the rare occasion I had a 5 litter maximum for females. And then they got recycled.
Retired.
What do you mean, sir?
Yeah, that works too. Retired breeder, that works too. But after litter, when I was like during the breeding season, when I was feeding a crap ton of pinkies, and after the 3rd litter, they would start to nip at my fingers and go, "You're not taking my babies."
Oh.
So they learn.
Yeah.
Motherly.
Mm-hmm.
Would you suggest like separating the babies immediately? So
no, you can't. They die.
Well, milk, tits, the whole thing.
Oh, didn't know that.
Yeah, they come out these little. They come out these little teeny tiny hairless blind little pinkies. Well, actually, they're about that big when they're born, and then they have to stay with the mother. They have to drink the mother's milk, and then they grow up, and then usually. I started feeding rats when they had just opened up their eyes.
Welcome to mammalian reproduction.
Can you not
if you don't know how
take
this
the
works.
mom when she's like milking?
But then the babies will die.
Mm-hmm.
But
You got to wean.
You're a mammal.
It's just like a dog.
Size?
You got to wean.
Oh yeah, easily.
So wait. Okay.
No. I'm just saying that the mom figured out that I was stealing the pinkies and not letting them and not returning them. And so she would kind of nip at my fingers.
Have you guys ever gotten like a rat from someone who maybe isn't the greatest keeper?
Yes.
And it seems like ones that are hungry will bite the fuck out of your snakes, will bite the fuck out of you, will bite the fuck out of anything. So I think like people are always worried about rats biting their snakes and stuff, but I think the worst part is when you have a hungry rat.
But you know what? When it comes to hungry rats, I don't have that problem because I kill mine. I mean, I talked about live feeding earlier. I will live feed mice. I will live feed small rats. I will live feed baby rats, all that kind of shit. An adult rat.
Why?
I will tell you that there is a gigantic difference. There's a gigantic difference between taking a rat that I have raised in a rack with plenty of food, plenty of water, all that stuff, putting it live in with the snake and while letting the snake eat it versus out there. There's a difference in the way the rat behaves, particularly if it hasn't had water or it hasn't had food. That being said, I'm like him. Anything over a small rat gets bumped.
Yeah.
I have seen it's lost eyes, damage to heat pits, mouth rot because the way the rat bit the snake was like this.
Somebody posted. Did y'all see that?
It was awful.
Did y'all see that rat in that tub with that boa constrictor? And it had ate that fucking boa constrictor. Like it just ate everything, all the skin off of it.
Yeah,
the snake was still alive.
That's a fucking idiot.
And I know some people. I know some people that are mutual friends with some other folks. I'm not gonna put
if you're
names out there, but they put a rat in there with a snake, and the snake, the rat fucked the snake up. So when I questioned them about it, they were like, I don't know what happened. It was only in there for like 10 minutes. And I'm like, no, you left that snake in overnight. And you can't tell me any different. I know you left that rat in overnight with that snake and you dropped it, you walked off and left it till the next day. And then you came in there and the rat's still there and the snake is fucked up.
I know that when I feed live, the tubs that I feed live, I have little clip things that go on them. I clip it on there and I go feed everything else. go downstairs, drink a cup of coffee, do whatever, come back upstairs 10, 15 minutes later, and I go in and I double check. If they haven't eaten in that time, if they haven't bit and wrapped in that time, the rat gets pulled.
Yeah, if a snake hasn't eaten live in 20 minutes, it's not eating it ever. I mean, you're not going to leave it overnight and have it magically. Well, okay, the exception to that would be babies, but that's an entirely different conversation. An established animal that just has stuck on live, if it hasn't struck and wrapped in 20 minutes, it's not eating it. There's no dealing with it. And I mean, if I do leave something in for an extended period of time, it's a live pinky or crawler. Which I do with corn snakes all the time because they're not doing anything. You know, they're not affecting the snake in any way.
Back to Morelia with baby carpets. I'm a firm believer in feeding mice up until the rats, and up until they're big enough to take a rat that has hair.
Just the motion.
Motion, and I believe that the hair. I believe it's a better food source for them than a pinky. But if I have a baby that is refusing to eat, and I have to do, you're familiar with this, the paper bag method.
Yeah.
It gets a pinky rat or a pinky mouse. It doesn't get a hopper mouse stuck in a bag overnight. That's asking to have the snake.
That's an arena.
Yeah, that's asking to have the snake eaten.
Yeah. I mean, that totally makes sense. So if you don't know what the paper bag method is, for whatever reason, that blackout, I mean, even if you cover your tubs, for some reason, putting it in the paper bag and making it a small, dark area will sometimes get snakes to eat.
I haven't figured out why the fuck that works as well as it does, but it does.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's something that people also do with corn snakes, but I guess it also works with all different kinds of snakes.
I've used it. My first clutch of carpets, I had to get half of them doing it. Now I have a completely different method for feeding, and it works out really well.
What do you do?
I wait 6 to 8 weeks post first shed.
Yeah.
And the amazing thing happens. They work through all of that yolk and everything else. And when you go through and you plop a hopper mouse in there, they eat it almost instantly. 90% of the clutch.
I think that clutch I had it was the first and only clutch I produced. I think I had 14. I had 14 of them, and I started them all off immediately on hopper mice. All of them ate but one. And that was just that one. He never ate, never took off. So finally, king snaked him. But
there's always that one. Yeah.
The rest of them, everybody took off and ate.
I wish I had a Woma for it. That's actually the main reason why I have the Woma is to kill off uncooperative hatchlings.
Yeah, like I'm lucky. I feel lucky almost to be able to produce corn snakes that aren't worth it for people to buy. Like, I don't want people to buy a corn snake that doesn't feed well. There's some that just never really get over it. And I mean, if it's not worthy of eating and stuff, like, there's no reason you can't repurpose it for food for a king snake. So it's like a mouse is no better than a baby snake, even though we all like snakes better than mice. But still, it's like they're both a life. So it's like, what's the difference between me giving a fucking corn snake to my king snake or a mouse?
My Crebo loved it.
and Mexican black king snakes are more, they're just more adapted to eat reptiles anyway. They probably eat mostly reptiles.
He's got a Cal King, same thing. I mean, they're from the Mojave Desert area in California. I don't know if there are any rodents that survive out there.
Rodents up in there?
No, yeah, they're finding pack rats, and so they're probably raiding like the baby nests and stuff like that. And I think there's mice out there. They're not like typical mice, but I mean, I think mostly they're probably on lizards and other snakes.
Evan, Lilypad's on, which I know you remember Lilypad. And she said, so what can I feed rats to make them tasty for, I don't know, stir fry?
I mean,
I've never eaten. Have you eaten a rat?
I was going to. No,
I've eaten squirrel.
Well, it wasn't a rat that you buy from a pet store, no shit like that. We were out rattlesnake hunting out in San Angelo, Texas, and I found a rat out there. It was a big field rat, but it's out in the middle of the fucking country. So you know what I'm saying? So it's eating natural fruits, berries, stuff like that. And so to me, it was no different than eating the rabbits that we had killed. And we ate some rattlesnake too, but it was all, why not? You know, and my dad thought I was joking, so he wouldn't let me kill it. I was dead serious. I was going to put a stick up his ass, put him on a fire. I bet it tastes just like all other meat.
I was going to say, squirrel tastes pretty good.
What is squirrel?
See, I haven't had squirrel. I had rabbit though.
take rabbit and add like a nutty taste to it because
Ooh.
they eat acorns and everything.
I like rabbits.
Rabbit's delicious.
I think in America though they're so prude when it comes to food. Like you look in other countries,
That's
they're
my
eating bugs and the same shit we feed lizards and some of these snakes. They're eating that shit in other countries.
There are ants that taste like fucking lemongrass.
Those little black ones.
They're delicious.
Well, we need to
How
stop.
often have y'all eaten these?
Try it.
I think as time goes on, things like cricket protein and ants and stuff like that, all the stuff that they do in China, it's just water. But they eat ants and cockroaches and bugs. I mean, it's a good source of protein, and it doesn't give off like methane like cows do. It doesn't hurt the environment as much. We can produce millions of crickets in the amount of environmental what I want to say, the effect the environment has on just producing one cow. Like you could live off of cricket protein or something like that. That's a much more reasonable source of protein probably. In the future when we have a bajillion people, we'll eat bugs like a motherfucker. We'll eat crickets.
The way they're destroying this planet, we're not gonna make it to a bajillion people.
Yeah. Well,
What are y'all talking about? Global warming isn't real. It's not real.
Oh, it's just a hoax?
It's cold in New York. It's like the coldest it's been in years. So what are you talking about? Global warming's not real.
Those polar bears are photoshopped.
Well, if people don't know, the ice caps are melting. Therefore, it actually released a certain amount of chill that ended up going towards the northeast. So that's why the northeast ended up a little bit colder even than Alaska and all that shit, because it was actually the polar ice caps releasing.
I did not know that.
They said I read some article about like meteorologists or scientists actually explains why it's colder.
Did you know it was colder in Dallas last week than it was in Alaska? Which is like
I don't know.
Crazy.
I was outside fishing.
How many
I like the
layers
cold
did you
weather.
have on?
I fish.
I fish.
That shit's great. Cold weather brings in the big blues.
Your mom just asked me if I got the vacuum for our anniversary.
Yeah, happy anniversary.
You know you're getting old when you get appliances. You're like, yeah.
No, but I really wanted to say, like, I was so excited for this vacuum. Like, no, this
Does it cook?
This is thanks to my kids' Christmas gifts. I did real good as a teacher this year for Christmas. My kids gave me a shit ton of Amazon gift cards, and I got a vacuum. And I was very excited for it.
Like, people don't understand how much like fucking appliances cost and furniture cost.
It's $180 vacuum right there.
Yeah, they're like, you think you just get a couch? Like, they're like $300.
Well, you can get a Craigslist $10.
Which is what I do for my whole life.
Now I gotta get some rats, man. I gotta pick up some
rats. We're gonna try to get into rats. We even talked. Oh, did you want something?
Oh no, I was going to go back to the whole alternative protein thing. Crickets aren't bad. Mealworms aren't bad. Scorpions are good. Spiders are also good. I pan fried a couple of them.
Oh, you what? Why?
I eat a scorpion
because I'm curious.
What's that got to do with anything?
I'm curious, and I eat.
But
damn near
do you know what's in that fucking meat in the grocery store? I mean, really, technically, all the shit they pump in there.
Not spiders.
I'd much rather. That's why everybody's running around.
I much prefer going to a farm or going out hunting or something to do that. There's a place where we buy meat from where we can literally go and go, which is the cow or which is the yak? Sorry, it's not a cow, but it's a yak. Which is
I'll tell you right now.
No,
you go to
no,
the
it's
store.
a farm. It's a farmer who raises yaks.
Oh, God forbid it be Asian.
I didn't say that's a bad thing. I just said it sounded Asian.
You can go to the store right now and go buy some catfish, and I promise you,
it won't
catfish. It will not taste shit like the shit I just.
I wouldn't know because you didn't bring me any.
I will.
Mm-hmm. I love.
I got a buddy that's.
I never get to eat it because he hates all fish, so I never get to eat it.
Catfish
I love fish. He eats all.
Why do you hate all fish?
He eats all fish.
I don't like many fish, but if you fry catfish,
that's the only way to eat it.
Yeah,
we're in the South, man. You fry everything. These motherfuckers fry Twinkies out here.
I'm not gonna eat fried shit right now, but
Oh yeah, he's too healthy for fried now.
No, fuck that. You're gonna eat it.
He's too healthy for all that. I want some fried okra.
Ooh, that's amazing.
And some fried oysters.
Some chitlins?
Oh,
no, I hate. That's where I draw the line. Chitlins are no good.
I've tried chitlins.
Oh, I hate chitlins.
If people don't know, that's the shitter pipe of a fucking pig or whatever.
It's
No, it's a
inside.
chicken.
It's
Chicken?
inside.
A shitter pipe of chicken.
No, it's pig.
No, it's pig.
A pig?
Chitlins is pig.
It's
Okay.
inside a pig.
I
Like,
eat
Still a
that
shitter
shit
pipe.
up.
that's a big
I thought
thing.
Boil.
I thought
My mom
What
makes
is-
it in North Carolina.
what do you
It's a
call-
huge thing. She cleans
my
it.
mom
Well, no,
cleans
she
them
stopped
here,
cleaning
yeah.
it.
You mean
She
like
stopped
I eat
cleaning
that
the
shit.
beaks or
Cleaning
the-
is
no.
Yeah.
There's
it.
birds in order to help digest.
The gizzard.
The gizzard.
The
That's
gizzard.
that's what it is.
That
is what it
is.
those
Thing, though,
gizzards.
yeah.
I thought it was
fried
I thought that-
gizzards.
I thought
Williams
It
chicken
is a
has some.
southern thing.
This
I
show went
thought
crazy.
that's what chitlins were.
No,
No,
I've
chitlins
had
are
both
big
chitlins
intestines.
and fried gizzard, and
No.
they're
Which-
disgusting.
You know,
And then Mexicans, they eat the cow intestines. It's like
in the
tripe.
tongues.
Mm-hmm.
Lengua.
Yeah.
Oh,
Ooh.
Language.
oh,
Lingua.
lengua.
Oh my
That's
god,
the
that's
only
amazing.
fucking street tacos I eat. I fucking
What is
love
lingua? Is that a
Cow
tongue?
tongue.
Ew.
No. Okay.
Eat it.
Ew.
No.
That sounds
100
so soft and
the-
mushy.
The last person that I
That sounds
I'm getting
soft and
hungry.
mushy.
the last person that I talked to about lingua. To be fair, the first time that I ordered lingua, I didn't know what the fuck I was ordering. I just basically pointed at pictures because
Point out a picture of a tongue.
I have
It
a
doesn't
I,
look like
Hashtag
No,
white
no.
people at Mexican restaurants.
I have a fondness for street tacos, and most really good street tacos you have to order in Spanish.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
And I don't speak Spanish, so I just
You
pointed
pointed.
pictures.
Okay.
So I ordered it, I ate it, and my buddy came up who spoke Spanish and goes,
Do
You know
what
what-
you just
"Do
ate?
you know what you just ate?" And I said, "Well, I know what pastor is.
Me too.
I know what carnitas is,
Yes.
and I have no idea what the third one is." And he goes, "You ate cow tongue." I was all like, "It was fucking delicious. I want more."
No,
Barbacoa.
Well, that's
Oh.
when I got tacos here and I ate cactus. I was like, I thought it was pepper, but it was cactus. It was great. It tasted like
Interesting.
pepper and-
Where'd you find them tacos?
No
it
shit.
El
is
cum.
El Come. Don't
Oh.
say cum.
Yeah, I was like, I'm skipping that.
Yeah.
I call it El
The
cum,
cum.
but it's El Come.
Spanish for the sperm.
Interesting.
Yeah, no. I don't do those parts.
I don't know.
Cheek?
I've never been.
I've
I can't
Bird
even do.
cheek
I
is
can't
really
even do
tender,
pork
really.
skins.
I've
like,
had-
even that.
I
Oh.
love
Maybe
it.
pork skins,
I've
like the
done-
chips.
Chicharrones.
The fried. It smells terrible.
No, it
I've had a
does.
couple-
It's good.
I've had a
Smells
couple
like fish
friends,
food, like fish flakes.
do the
You put it in
pig
spread, they
barbecue
get
thing where
soft.
you fry up, where you barbecue a whole pig.
Oh, I'm used to that.
Yeah, the cheek, amazing. Did the same. Did the cheek with the pig, lamb, and goat. All amazing.
I promise you, if I brought some street tacos over here
I
and had
probably
lengua
did.
and you tried it, you'd be like, okay, I'm gonna try it. This is, I'm telling you, she'd be like, I'm
No.
gonna try this.
No.
But this
we
is
wouldn't
gross.
tell you what it
The
is.
Yeah.
minute
we're
she
gonna tell.
tried it, she's gonna be like, damn, this shit is good. I'll be like,
It
got another
melts.
one.
It melts in your
It-
mouth.
it
It's
is
delicious.
Tell me
There's a
about
place
tomorrow.
right down there, La Benqueta Taqueria.
Yeah, it's not, no, I love it quite a
You
bit.
would-
about that
I
stuff.
don't know what anything
Nothing's in
is, but you
English.
can definitely get some tongue tacos or some
Okay,
whatever.
speaking of tongue, not really.
Hey.
In 2 minutes, the college football championship comes on.
Right,
So if you
but
would like
I'm
to
gonna,
watch
I'm gonna
that,
give it 2 hours though. We're gonna go 2 hours, so I need to give it at least 10 minutes. After.
okay.
So
I mean,
how
you're
dare
the one.
you
It's your
interrupt.
team.
I have to agree.
I
with
say
you on
Georgia
that one.
Bulldogs. Let's beat those
College
gross
football is still going on.
Bama fans. It's
Yeah.
it's the last game. It's the championship. We're
I don't
hoping
give-
somebody fucking beats Alabama. Okay,
I
that's all that
don't-
matters. Someone has to beat them.
I could care less
Okay.
about football. I'm probably the worst person in the world. to
You're
have
not
a
the worst.
conversation-
You're the minority for once.
have a conversation about football with
The
because
rest
I
of your
have
life,
no
you're
earthly
not the
idea.
minority. but-
What are you talking about? We're in NWA. Where did you see us?
Stop.
How do you think I matched all of our skin tones? 2 of us were, 2.5 of us looked out of place.
Stop.
Half of Evan looked fine. You look just
This
like
half
Easy.
right here.
Does she look like Easy? Is that why Easy got AIDS? Because he was so cute? You know, did you
What?
see it?
What?
You were Easy. You don't even know who Easy is.
How on
What?
earth do you not know Easy E died of AIDS?
No, I did.
No,
I'm
no,
saying
no,
what
easy.
that he was cute.
He had
That's not even
womanly
being
features
cute.
because he
But I
had
have
your
to do
face.
have to say I didn't learn that he died of AIDS till a documentary we watched like a couple months ago. So
Talking about viruses.
I'm not up on my rap history.
I think I learned on a VH1 thing.
There you go.
Where I get mine.
Mine was an HBO thing, so
Yeah.
you know, same thing.
Have any of you guys tested your animals for NIDO? Or-
Not yet. I was thinking about doing it this
It's not
year.
really. None of us are that deep into it where we need to do that. But
I
I'm
won't
doing-
say that. I just from what I've seen on most of it, I mean, at some point I'm probably getting tested just to make sure.
But everyone seems to have 50%.
But what I'm seeing a lot of is it's in captive bred populations. Yeah. All my grain trees are imports. I mean, I'm not saying they're safe. I'm just saying almost every case I'm seeing is in captive bred animals. And it seems to be, predominantly captive bred. Not saying it couldn't be hit my shit, but I'm going to find out. But right now I'm just like...
Does Mike Curtin have green trees at all? I know he has jungles because he's got scattershot, but one of his tested positive for Nido. I don't know if he has green trees or not.
It's quite possible, even if he has a Morelia Trophy Club animal, as far as a Gamma Jag or something like that. All of his animals have been 100% for Nido, I believe. John. Okay. I don't want to say that's not talking bad or anything. I think he's tested them all, and I think that most of them have Nido. So
and he said nothing's coming out, nothing's coming in. So,
but even then, he's had a closed collection forever, and it doesn't seem like he has much problem with his snakes because we see them breed all the time because we know his snakes. So it's like they have Nido with nothing wrong, but it seems like the green trees may be more susceptible to a fatal.
It might be that with carpet pythons, they're more of a carrier versus a
kind of like IBD with boas.
Exactly. So if you want to have if you want to check your boas for IBD, you put a python in there because they'll catch IBD like that and then they'll die.
The boas will live with it pretty much throughout their whole life.
Because I've got a pair of Hog Island crosses and no issues as far as the IBD goes, or at least as far as nothing funky has popped up with my carpet pythons.
But I mean, also the fact is that a boa in Central America would never cross paths with any python from fucking Australia. So we're putting this captive population in it. As far as maybe Australian snakes, maybe your jungles, your coastals, they're carrying it, but you have these Indonesian green trees that aren't used to it, and maybe they're.
It might be that the way that the virus actually works inside, maybe the immune system of the carpet python, because of where they're from and because they are exposed to different temperatures and that type of stuff, their immune system is naturally stronger. So maybe they're able to fight off the secondary infection that normally kills them. Whereas the green tree is from a relatively stable part of the world where the temperatures don't really fluctuate a whole lot.
Niche environment.
Yeah.
And maybe we're just making shit up, which we are.
We might be talking out of our asses. Who knows?
Okay, Lily. Well, I should have answered this in the chat, but Lily Pat said, "Are you guys going to be at the Tampa Repticon?" Could have automatically told her no.
No.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna be there. I'll
be at the Dallas Repticon this weekend, but
I mean, if we're going to Florida,
everyone will be vending fruit flies if you need fruit flies.
Shit, I ain't even gonna bring them fuckers right. They just been.
Someone find someone to sponsor us going to Southeast Carpet Fest.
What does that even mean?
I don't know. Someone pay for our plane tickets is what I mean. Someone find a rich uncle who really likes snakes to pay for our plane tickets to Southeast Carpet Fest. And then we'll be in Florida. That'll work. Her second question was, are there, how do you pronounce Dumerils?
Dumerils?
What?
Dumerils?
That word, boa morse.
I have no idea.
I haven't seen any.
No,
I mean I'm not a huge boa fan, but
there's just I forget what the guy's line is, but it's really really nice. Harding line, I believe, is the Dumeral boa line. That's really.
I think
really
Austin
nice.
has
lots of pinks.
Dumerals.
He has one. I don't know if he's paired it up yet, but he has one.
That people don't work enough with.
He has.
I just don't like boas.
I will tell you, the very first time you ever have a litter born, it will change your opinion of boas because it stinks like nothing you have ever experienced.
I want Amazon tree boas. That's the only boa I want.
I've done 2 litters of Amazon tree boas and I couldn't get them to eat.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
I thought that those would bite anything. So
oh no, they bit like motherfuckers, but I couldn't get them to actually wrap and eat. It was like it was way worse than taking pinky parts and tease feeding baby eyelash vipers. It was way worse than that.
He's Madagascar tree boa. That's what someone wants.
It's a Madagascar tree boa.
Past me, I don't know what the green phase is though.
Couldn't even begin to tell you.
Okay. I think also someone said, "What is night?"
But Madagascar tree boa, that's Sanzinia, right?
I think so.
Maybe?
You know what I really want?
Because the Madagascar and ground bow is the one that looks like doom roll. So
I think it is
tree
a
bow maybe the
same.
Sanzinia.
I don't know, but I want
I'm
some
not sure.
wagglers.
I'm retarded.
I want wagglers bad.
I like Atheris.
Alright.
Chloricus, something like that.
I need some.
I don't even know the
baboons back
common
in my
name.
life.
I don't know
I don't know shit.
I don't know the common name of it. I want to say it's
I'll
an
take
African
Swanies, those
bush
eyelash.
African bush viper is what it is. But it's fucking gorgeous. It's amazing.
Yeah, I want some wagglers, man. The temple vipers.
I want cobras back
I
too.
mean, I would take a mansion or whatever the fuck that one is. The green
I would have
Yeah.
a better chance of getting a retic past my wife than a cobra. So
I mean, that makes sense. That's not unreasonable.
They both can kill you.
Mhm.
I would say the cobra is
One's
more
just
of a
faster
chance.
than the other.
Yeah,
Actually, no. I think the retic is a little bit faster.
but
At least
I
from
just-
my experience.
the
with
whole
them.
like
yeah.
your senses will just fall apart. You won't be able to see. You won't be able to smell. Taste.
Oh no, I treat
And
all
you'll
my
just die
snakes
in silence.
like they're cobras. Always have.
So does Dave.
It's just one of those things that I'm like, I don't like to be bit. I mean, it doesn't hurt. You know what I'm saying? They're small enough. It doesn't really hurt. I don't like being bit.
Nope.
And so I try to avoid it at all costs. And then I just feel like because at some points and times I do work with venomous here and there, you know, I only got rid of my gaboons because we had a baby. But I've always treated all my snakes like they were venomous. That way when I do have venomous, then I'm twice as careful because it's like these snakes can kill you. I've had rattlesnakes and stuff like that, but when I got gaboons, I was so like hands off. It's insane. Like it just
I
miss them.
It's everybody asks what a good beginner venomous is, and there really isn't a good beginner. There isn't a good beginner venomous. Just pick a venomous that you like, find somebody who keeps it, and learn how to keep it from them.
Yeah, that's
And
I agree with
learn how to keep it from them.
Unless you're a mamba
because-
guy, and then don't get a mamba as your first.
Because the way that I treat like my scrubs, well, my scrubs singular now, my carpets and everything else is not the way that I would treat cobras. There's a gigantic mental difference in opening up the cage to a cobra versus opening up the cage to a carpet python. And you can't recreate that. There's no amount of recreating. No bitey snake on the planet is going to recreate the fact that this is going to be $100,000 bill if you get bit.
Right.
It just won't.
If you're lucky enough to
survive,
to have any venom available, if you're in this area and you have the Fort Worth Zoo and the Dallas Zoo right next to you, you may have a chance. Florida. If you are
The
in
Dallas Zoo
Wisconsin,
has
good luck
the biggest
dying.
reptile collection in the United States.
the Dallas Zoo has Navia and black mambas, and I want
And
to
they have
say
anti-venom for all those?
they have to. They have to because they have to have their keepers kept.
Yeah.
Which sucks for the keepers because that means that some moron out there got bit by a.
And then they take their anti-venom.
Yeah. And then you have the Miami thing, which is
Miami-Dade, they keep like everything.
they have they're airplane flight away, but I want to say with Mamba specifically, it's an 80-20 rule. If you get it within the first 2 hours, you have a 20% chance of death and an 80% chance of life. After the 2 hours, it flip flops. It's an 80% chance of death and a 20% chance of life. And when you do live, you have shit. You have blood coming out of
Your butthole.
Orifice.
exactly.
Bleeding out my butthole.
I read Brian Fry's autobiography, and he talks about anal bleeding that in a couple spots.
I mean, he ended up like bleeding from his eyes, his nose, his ear, every orifice, right? Like
He said if it wasn't for some of the if it wasn't for the fact that it'll kill you, like King Cobra venom is actually quite psychedelic.
I mean, as far as any
That would be a
neurotoxin. I mean, they're going to give you in some euphoric state, right? When you die,
you would hope.
you hope so. But I mean, if you're talking about a hemotoxic, you're getting
Well, like
fire.
my favorite cobras are the blackneck spitters, and so they do a more of a necrotic venom because their venom is designed more as a defense instead of a thing. So like they'll bite you here, and the venom will go up here, and it'll settle here, and then this part of your shoulder will run off.
Oh, sweet.
Yes.
Yeah.
Number 1, as always, Lily Pad and Valiant Faint. I don't know, Dave, if you watch all of them or heard, these two are like no other. They're going off on each other on the chats.
Oh goddamn.
Lily Pad is Asian, which is not something we had, but Valiant said Asians always get A's, even A cups. And then it just kind of went. But I just thought that was funny. Whoever H2749 is, he said, what is the general consensus on snake eyesight? How good can snakes actually see? And if it's been observed that more visual animals like cobras can see better than, say, a python?
I will tell you that my experience with cobras, if you wave your hand in front of the cage and they see your hand first, they hood and track your hand. If you wave your hand and they see the shadow of your hand across the back of the cage, they will hood and track your shadow. A mamba, my one and only experience with a mamba, that fucker looked at the shadow, realized it was a shadow, turned back around to my hand.
Okay.
I wasn't opening up that cage. Not on my life.
So maybe that's a better read of heat and sight.
No, they don't have heat pits. It's pure eyesight.
Yeah, there's certain snakes, you start looking at things like, you go to the south and you look at coach whips, and they periscope, and they hunt like that, like they're looking around. I know you've always heard, snakes have bad eyesight. I think it's a lot better than what we've ever thought. Retics, your scrubs, all those kind of these big snakes, they watch you.
Very
Scrubs,
they're very smart, and they're watching.
I have never had a scrub python look at shadow. They might notice the shadow in the back of the cage or whatever, but they will immediately track back around. That's probably more of a.
I feel like they have the dual.
That's probably more of the
sensory,
effect of the heat pits, but they track you and they look at you.
That's it. Like my green trees strike at shadows all the time. Well, not all of them. I have one that's specifically the male Biak that I recently acquired. He's a shadow striker. Like I walk in there and you'll see him all of a sudden just hit at nothing. It's like, what are you doing? And you realize when I walked by, I cast a shadow and he struck at the shadow. Then he'll see me. And you see him when he sees me, he pops up and looks at me, and I'm like, fucking dumb snake.
That's also just like a super on edge snake in comparison.
It's not even on edge. It's at nighttime usually, and they're just hunt mode.
Yeah, like if you gotta catch a bird, then you gotta be quick.
And like he was saying with coach whips have no heat pits, but my few interactions with them, they track you. They don't look. It's not like they see your shadow or they see a tree or something off in the background and they look at that. No, those fuckers are watching you.
Yeah, I don't. And like he was saying about most people saying that snakes were blind. I think that's old back in the day, kind of the cottonmouth caveman kind of shit.
They're fucking retarded.
I don't think any of these snakes are blind, or near blind. I think they all see pretty well. I think some are more sight oriented as opposed to being heat oriented, but I think they all see very well.
I will 100% tell you that scrubs are more. They seem to use both together, but they seem to be more sight orientated. Like they keen in on movement. My carpet pythons, they keen in on heat.
They're also and have more intellect than any of those.
And like he has some experience with retics. I've heard with retics that they have that they show keeper recognition, and I can tell you 100% that bloods and shorttails do. They will recognize their keeper versus somebody random who opens up the cage.
And I also think it's smell too, because your smell is your smell.
Mm-hmm. I don't know which one that is, if it's a heat or a smell thing. Probably more of a smell thing. But that Borneo that I showed you the pictures of that had the Baytril, yeah. My mom would reach into his cage when he's in shed and would get bit every fucking time. I could reach into that cage anytime, never get bit.
And then you see something like you were holding the jungle carpet before. It's so stupid it doesn't even know if it wants to bite you or hang out with you or eat you, or it doesn't even know. So it's like there is a clear intellect difference between even. I just find some of my colubras to be very smart, even corn snakes to be more. they're more evolved technically than a python, but
it's a different.
it's different.
Like my bull snakes, you can look at them and tell that there's something going on. They're deeper.
They'll look right back at you.
Yeah, with carpet pythons, it's more of a mechanical thing. Like they're more of a, you open up the tub. I love carpets. Don't get me wrong. Please don't get me wrong. But you open up the tub or you open up the cage and they're just more of a mechanical. Are you food or are you not food?
No.
Yeah. The bull snakes actually seem to want to figure you out. And the same thing with the scrub pythons. They want to figure you out.
Personally, carpets. If you're starting out.
So that person asked what's better to start with, carpets or
I was
retail?
even gonna ask that.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Like,
corn snakes.
Why in the
I think honestly, I think carpets are
really easy
wonderful snakes to keep as a first go around snake. They don't get too big. They're pretty bulletproof. Yeah, I mean they're pretty bulletproof. Retics, you don't. They get so big so fast. And, I mean, and you're talking about super dwarfs. You know, super dwarfs, you spend a lot of money. You know, and then is it a true super dwarf or someone trying to make a sale? You know, and then it's, I just think if it's like your first snake, you're not going to spend the kind of money they're asking on a super dwarf compared to what you would get a carpet for. So to me, you know, I think retics are something you should hook up with somebody about, basically have a mentor learn about, because retics can be
a different animal.
They can be, I mean, their size alone, they can, you know, you got to know about breeding season males and those bites. There's a lot of shit to know about.
Even if you just have one male during the breeding season, I mean, you might reach into that cage and he might decide, I don't fucking want you anywhere near me. And then you end up in the hospital.
And for the most part, carpets are going to. Well, maybe that
I mean,
are you
going to keep a dog or a lion? A dog can bite you, but it's probably not going to kill you. It might, but a retic could straight up fuck you up pretty badly if you make a mistake. Well, if you're a first time keeper, you're going to make mistakes.
He said right now they have 2 corns and a ball python.
So you're not a total beginner, but a carpet would be
a good... No, carpet would be...
If you're going to make a start, if you're going to make the jump, carpet. Definitely.
Unless, I will say, unless you have a passion and a desire to work with a giant snake. If you have a passion and desire to work with a giant snake, then by all means, go get it. But find somebody who keeps them, find somebody who breeds them, hook up with them, figure out how you properly take care of and cage and deal with a 15-foot pissed off female or something like that.
And don't count size out on a dwarf, because I have my female goldshot, she's half dwarf. And she's still going to hit 12, 13 feet. I mean, that's still a big snake. And it's half dwarf blood. Mm-hmm. And so, you think some of these dwarfs, if they're not super dwarfs, those super dwarfs that I've seen, they're like 6, 7 feet, 8 feet, something like that. Then your dwarfs are like 10, 11, and then you start getting less and less. But I don't know, just
even a 10 or 11 foot snake is still a lot of snake to deal with.
And they're strong.
And they're bit more temperamental than a 8-foot coastal carpet or something like that.
Okay, Paris asked, are false water cobras good for a second snake? I want to get one because I'm bored of boids. I guess he meant balls.
Boids are like pythons.
Oh, and colubras. He says he's bored of corn snakes and stuff, so he wants something more exciting.
I don't know a whole lot about their venom. They're rear fanged.
It's definitely mild, but
yeah.
Definitely good enough.
I know that there are people out there that free handle them. If you're bored, good Lord. Yeah. I know I wanted them.
They are smelly. They are, everything and colubrid can be.
What colubrids do they have experience with?
He has corn snakes, right? Paris?
I think Paris had a ball python. And
I thought he had ball python.
I'm not 100% sure.
So he's also he's also like 16. Let's put that into
16 now. Like 16-year-olds have absolute. I'm really, really, really sorry to be absolute about this, but 16-year-olds have no business with anything more venomous than a hognose as far as rear fang goes.
But I mean, why not? There's so many other cool colubrids out there. Why not go with something
try
like
your hand,
which is hardcore, but still
try your hand with either a Crebo or like a bull snake or something like that.
True. I just a bull snake. Yeah.
Because that false water cobra will do just as much damage as far as shit goes as a bull snake or an indigo or a Crebo. You don't want to do an indigo. But
no, is he in England? He is in England. Can you get bull snakes in England?
I have no earthly idea.
There's a little bit rarer, but I'm sure you can find them.
I have absolutely no earthly idea.
There's not many great keeping colubrids in Europe, but there are some like Russian rat snakes and stuff like that, but they're a little bit harder to keep. But yeah, I mean they have corn snakes and stuff over there. They have bull snakes. They have a few people. It's just our bull snake maybe $100 and theirs maybe $350 or something. You know, like it's going to be a different market, but definitely start going slowly as far as rarity goes.
Asshole in Ireland. Lawrence, yes, I did call you an asshole. He hatched out oxybulls and he also hatched out
Scrubs?
Yeah, that was his first.
Oh, I know what you're talking about now.
He also hatched out.
Much only has scrubs.
No, he has some kind of dwarf bull snake, and I can't remember which one it was. I can't remember which one it is.
So would it be a calf snake?
Exactly.
Hey,
my fucking ass is killing me.
Put the pillow down.
There's a pillow there
That's
for a
what the
reason.
pillow's
Dave
for.
broke that chair last time he was here, so you should blame him.
I mean, I got an ass, but this shit hurts. Oh,
He hatched out. He hatched out like.
And to make you taller on the really short chair.
He hatched out some kind of dwarf bull snake. I can't remember which one it was.
But they're definitely out there.
Yeah, they're definitely there. You can find them. I would not recommend, if you're going to do rear fang, I would not recommend anything above a hognose until you have a little bit more experience.
Yeah,
He said he wants a badass snake with a bad temperament.
I mean, yeah, that's.
Someone suggested a white lip.
That right there
I said get a scrub.
That right there is how I ended up with cobras at 19 years old.
I mean, you could go Boega, you could go.
No, don't go anything. Don't if that's your whole reasoning for keeping a snake is you want something badass with a temperament. You're going to be one of these idiots that we see on YouTube that got bit by your snake. You're going to be in the hospital. You're going to probably be dead. And then they're passing laws trying to keep people from owning reptiles because of some dumb shit that you wanted that you thought was cool with an attitude. Don't fucking do it.
Lily said she's going to go to his funeral.
Yeah, like that kind of shit.
It's not. It's
you
not
want something
worth it.
because you like to keep it, you know, and you want to see it set up, not because it's got an attitude and it's badass. I bought a big retail because I wanted to feed it hogs.
I mean, you can go with a viper boa. It's not going to hurt you, but it looks venomous.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you want to be badass, it might bite you, but it's not going to hurt you. You can get
Or do a.
Was that Candoya aspera? Is that what viper boa is?
I think so. There are venomous keepers that deal with like king cobras and shit like that in the zoos, and they keep dry marcon, Crebos and indigos at home.
Even king rats for cobra training and stuff.
Well, they keep dry marcon in at home because they're not allowed to keep venomous where they live, and they want the experience of dealing with the lapid, but they can't deal with any lapid at home, and so they keep those.
I want gaboons and wagglers, and I'm happy with that. I miss going with gaboons, and I've always wanted wagglers.
I never got really big into gaboons.
Gaboons scare me because I feel like they can lull you into being like, this is a tame reptile, and then kill you in 1 second.
Every single solitary person who owns a gaboon needs to own a puff adder, and then they need to realize that when you open up that puff adder's cage and it's fucking doing its little hissy, bitey, strikey shit, you need to realize that gaboon that sits there placidly, that you could literally reach your hand in there and go like this and go like that and clean its cage, it's capable of doing everything that puff adder is doing.
It's like a ball python with lethal consequences.
I don't know, man. I mean, I get where people come from,
and
the way how they
them.
look at them, and they don't do shit. I've always treated mine like I know what the fuck they are and what they can do. So I don't give a fuck how slow it moves, how lazy it looks. I know, bottom line, what that snake can do.
Well, we were talking about Ryan Rumbley and I were talking about that with blood pythons. Okay, with carpet pythons, it's you look at their head and how visual cues. Blood pythons, it's like an eye twitch. it's an eye twitch, and you have to watch their tongue flick. If their tongue stops flicking, you don't fucking go anywhere near it because they're gonna strike at you.
And Gabbies do that. The whole eye twitch thing. If you watch them, they'll sit there, and I mean, it's like they're as still as possible. And if you're like anywhere kind of behind them, you'll see it where they sit there, and then that eye just moves and looks at you. It's like, all right, and it's like you'll see it, and it's so subtle, but it's so quick. I mean, you just see that eye where it's focused this direction, or it just looks like it's looking straight off somewhere. And all of a sudden, it's just a subtle little twitch, and it's looking right at you. It's like, we're cool, SA. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're cool, man.
I am not one of these people that says that this type of snake is for beginners, this type of snake is for intermediates, this type of snake is for advanced. I think you can get away with you can get away with keeping whatever you want. It just no. It just depends upon how deep you're willing to go to learn about the animal. Like the whole blood python and the eye twitch thing, that's something I didn't realize until my 4th time trying to keep blood pythons.
You know, and I've always thought it's like so many people keep ball pythons the wrong way. And, you know, you think, oh, they're from Africa, they must want it really hot.
No.
I thought the same thing about gaboons. You know, I was like, oh, African snakes types of shit. They're even in the jungles, it's getting hot out there. They must want it 90 degrees. No. You keep a gaboon almost exactly like you keep a green tree. You know, my hot spots were 84-ish, 85-ish. And then my cool ends were mid 70s.
Blood pythons come from kind of the same type of thing as there. And
swampy
blood pythons, you give them a hot spot of 85 degrees and an ambient of 80, and they will never, even if you feed them, all right, they're already this fucking big around. If you feed them a meal that makes them this big around, they will not go on the hot side of their cage. Period. End of story. And wherever the heat is, they are so far away from it.
I mean, I find in general we're too hot with things, but you see just more and more often. It's like Terry Phillip keeps everything 80 degrees, I believe. Just 80 degrees flat most
I do somewhere between 78 and 82 typically.
I mean, I'll
trying to figure my
hot spot on carpets, but
trying to figure my room out when I moved was kind of a pain. It went from 78 degrees to 90 degrees to 70 degrees, and it was
what you don't want is jumping all around, right? You like want some type of consistency, so at least you know what's working.
Now it's a little bit more consistent, and it's sitting right between 80 and 83, so I'm good.
That's perfect. Like, that's exactly what I want all my snakes. And it doesn't matter if it's a corn snake or a green tree. I want to keep them both at that.
With the bull snakes, I find that the bull snakes want it to be a little bit cooler. They're a little bit more like dry Marcon in that area. They're like 76 to 78.
I keep them like in here at 74 and then 85 on the hot spot, but yeah, I'm not in tuned enough with the ambient thing because I have to do ambient for the corn snakes and stuff like that. So I can imagine though that they're a little bit different than a corn snake and everything. Just
everything's fucking different. The dry Marcon was the most crazy thing. Keeping my Crebo is crazy. It's the only snake I've ever kept at 72 degrees that ate and shit and did everything just fine and didn't want to be any hotter.
I mean, Asian rat snakes, rhino rat snakes, people say 75 and they'll keep their snakes at 75. It scares the shit out of me.
I wouldn't know what it took. I am dumbfounded that this Crebo lived through its first year because it took every ounce of my willpower to do what it wanted to do.
Right. By nature, you want to make it warmer.
I wanted it to have an 85 degree hot spot. Period. That's what I wanted it to have, and it never wanted it. It would, if it had a hide spot and it was over the hot spot, it would move the fucking hide spot. If it could have gotten out of the cage, moved the cage, and went back into the cage, it would have done that.
Well, look at all my corn snakes. They're all at the front of the cages during the winter, even though it's the same temperature all around. They know it's the fucking winter, and they want to be. I don't get it. These fucking animals. Anyway, we're over time. Evan's not even paying attention because it's Khalifa talk. Melissa's not giving a fuck.
I'm straight
looking at.
He's looking at the weather.
I'm fixing to go fishing, so I'm always
He's gonna go ball
you better bring us back some
fishing.
catfish.
Yeah, I'll get some. Wait,
I have a fishing rod. You can take my fishing rod.
You ain't got a rod like I got.
No, she's got a Fisher Price.
Rod.
She's got a Fisher
Wait, I want to show him.
it's like one of those press relief little babies.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
For babies. Anyway, guys, thank you guys so much for listening, watching, whatever you do. Evan, where can we find you?
You find me on Instagram at Carpet Cartel, on Facebook Carpet Cartel, Southern Carpet Fest. Also, please check out Southeast Carpet Fest and
Spotify, Ice Cube.
Yes.
I am on Spotify, but it's under my wife.
Oh Jesus!
I'm like,
What the fuck is this?
I can't remember how to open.
Dave, where can we
It's
find
a-
you
it-
on
you press
Instagram?
on
On
Okay.
Instagram, I'm
Oh,
at
you
Morelia
press and it opens up.
Evolution. Facebook, I do have a Morelia Evolution
It's that
Facebook
fine.
page, but
I think it's that.
it's kind of inactive at the moment.
That's open.
So Dave Perlich is a good place to reach me on Facebook. I do have a website, moreliaevolution.org. That's my blog. I try to upload every 2 weeks.
It's
I really do.
connected down there right now somehow.
Sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't.
Never mind.
That's about it with all of us who put out shit on social media and all that stuff on our website.
Well, I tried to do YouTube, but I don't like the way my voice sounds on a recording.
You just gotta get over that. It doesn't sound good.
None of us
So-
like it. Yeah.
I prefer the whole written word thing.
Yeah.
It's more therapeutic for me too.
People think I'm like outgoing because I do this and I do YouTube, but I don't like talking to people. And you talk fine on the fucking podcast, but you know it's different when you're not talking about snakes.
It
I
was
mean,
my
we can all
grandpa,
talk to
so it's
people.
good.
Oh, Jesus, I could sit here and talk to you for like 4 or 5 hours.
Yeah, but it would get so deep on colubrids, and
Oh,
Evan
God.
would just be. Evan doesn't give a fuck about colubrids.
Dart
It is not
frogs,
official
green
price,
trees,
Dart
so-
frogs.
carpets,
Cool.
gaboons.
And like
Why
I
don't you
can give a
open it
shit
up?
about
I
dart
forgot.
frogs for probably about 10 minutes.
I'm actually with you on gaboons. I like gaboons.
No, yeah, everyone. They just look
Wait,
fucking
no.
amazing.
Yeah, gaboons are. Oh man, I miss them.
But I was trying to say where to find me, but you're playing with your Fisher Price.
It's much more intensive.
That actually seems a little scary.
PortCityPythons.com. You're not catching any catfish on that.
I don't know.
Maybe.
PortCityPythons.com, PortCityPythons Instagram, From the Ground Out podcast. You're listening to it. I don't know what the fuck's going on. Hopefully this sounds decent. We mic'd up the room with the 3 assholes we've had on the podcast before. We are all 3 opinionated people with stupid opinions that may not be facts, but
Oh, most of it's
we
probably
like to talk
bullshit.
shit.
That's all right.
And you can see Dave get bitten at www.com, youtube.com/Python Ate a Man on our podcast.
Python ate a man. I like that.
Python Ate a Man.
Never go full bar check.
All right, later. Have a good one.
Deuces.
Yeah.
Finally got